me a little volume in mine? Oh, I know it's already over here. Sorry. A little bit more. There you go.
Our first edition of Reality Check Radio on 98.7 The Coast, live at the Mud Hen Brewery on Rio Grande Avenue. I'm Pete Visalli. To my left is Hollis Thomas, the tank.
Yes.
What's happening, brother man? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, too. As you can see, we're here before everything gets started. They getting us ready with Will. What was that bartender's names?
We got Will and Drew behind the bar, keeping the drinks cold. So stop by, have a drink, say hello. We've got T-shirts to give away. Hollis is going to be hanging out after the show to shake some hands and kiss some babies.
Yeah, a little bit, mainly to watch the game, though.
Yeah. It is Birds Day today.
Yeah, go Birds, baby.
Go Birds, baby. We have so much to talk about. This is going to be the fastest 3 hours in sports. I don't know how we're going to get it all in. I mean, I wanted to do an Eagles preview, but those bowl games last night were incredible.
Oh yeah, they were tremendous. They gave us something to do inside, since the weather outside was god awful. I know you were. I know where you were. And
yes.
I was. It was kind of hard to really party last night because I was like every time I was getting ready to get out of my vehicle. It was raining. It started raining hard. Let me know that I needed to be in front of the TV watching those bowl games, which were exciting because if you watched both the bowl games, they kind of start off the same. One team looked like they were about to go on just a slaughter, and then the other team would fight right back. Then the other team would fight back. It was one of the most exciting bowl championship series that I've pretty much ever seen. Most of the time, they just blowouts.
Spectacular, man. I mean, Alabama was kind of as billed. That was a little bit of what we expected, but Michigan and TCU, and you know. We bash the strength and schedule. I know you can't stand it. I'm not that much of a fan of it either. But it always seemed to be the reason that would keep a TCU out of this situation.
Yeah.
And they nailed it this year, man. TCU got their opportunity. And they stuffed it right down Michigan's throat. I mean, the defense. I was one of the ones saying it. Michigan's defense was lights out all season. And then yesterday, TCU made them look like children.
The funny thing was it was a lot more of TCU's things that the defense did. I don't know if you watched that game. Did you watch that game from wire to wire?
Yeah.
So you watched the opening drive where Michigan, which would have made the statement if you just take the points. but you don't take the points on 4th and goal. It would be different if it was 4th and goal from the 1-inch line or from the 1-yard line, and then you try to run the Philly.
Right.
Try to run the Philly.
Come on, man.
And you
can't do that without
no.
Nick.
But then you think that they're with the punt, with the defensive Michigan defense coming out, playing lights out like you said, and making a punt. But then the punt bounces TCU's way a little bit, gives them a little leeway, kind of switches field position. But then Michigan comes out, still being brash and still listening to the announcers, I'll say, and throws a pick six.
Pick six, fumbles on the goal line. I mean, and like you said, not taking the points. If they kick that field goal, they're down by a field goal at the end of the game.
Well,
that game is within reach.
But if you kick that field goal, I think it goes a totally different way. I mean, I think your defense comes out and stops them, and you're not so amped up to throw that kind of pass. You're not amped up because you just went downfield and you stalled.
You're not playing catch up. You're not going out there and trying to hit home runs.
It's not so much playing catch up. It's thinking that you're the tallest midget. Am I allowed to say tallest midget in the room? In a room full of midgets, you think
I'm not going to stop you from saying anything. I don't know.
Or that you're like
it's a size discrepancy between the two of us.
No, but when you look at it, I just think when they were going for it on 4th down, my brother was probably listening. I distinctly called him and I was like, if they don't get this, they're going to get their butts kicked. And I was like, it's going to be close, but I think they're going to get their butts kicked. Because that changes the momentum of the game. It changes the whole out. You just march downfield like, what was it, 10, 15-play drive? And you got absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
It's demoralized. Not only is it demoralized to your offense, but it's demoralized to your defense.
Yeah, they have to go back out there, and now the pressure's on them. They have to get a stop. And like you said, everybody, according to the announcers, they weren't. TCU wasn't going to score.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
That's what
TCU's playing for a national championship against Georgia, and that is going to be everything that I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think so too.
That is the true national championship.
Yeah, when you think about it, TCU they lost at the end of a game. Well, I mean it was. It was bound to be TCU, and it's the other part was the strength and schedule thing you were talking about. I was like, dude, everybody brings it up. I was like, you lose because somebody actually called me and said, is it any way that Alabama for what? They did have a good bowl game yesterday. I was like, but Alabama's not the team that it has been in the past. And to try to titillate and push them up there because you talk about what's a good loss. Newsflash, there's no such thing as a good loss or a moral victory.
Nope.
Either you win or you lose. And it's hard. And when you're in college, it is extremely hard to stay undefeated. And for those people who are up on top, who are making their predictions, I'm glad the guys fed them what they fed them yesterday.
Right.
Bama
has 2 losses.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, but I was glad. But you saw them grow as a team. They had a bunch of. See, what happened was each year, if they pluck, if 8 or 9 of your guys are plucked for the NFL. Eventually, you're going to have a rebuilding year. And if a rebuilding year is 2 losses, 2 L's, I could take that. I was like, but to have them, to try to make them be a part of the national championship conversation just because of reputation is a disservice to you, to all the people, all the fans, and not only that, to the kids that's playing the game.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I
mean, they're the ones that are really going to take the hit because.
Correct.
They're playing the game. They're in the national spotlight as kids. Some of them are 18 years old.
I don't want to bring the chumps up, but kind of makes you think of Dallas, where you're standing on the shoulders of the people before you who had titles, and you've done nothing.
Right.
And you think just because you wear a certain emblem on the side of your helmet that we're supposed to make concessions for you. No, we're here to kick your butt.
Yeah.
And take names. That's just the way it is.
Unfortunately, it did not go our way last week.
But I wasn't angry.
No.
And that's why I was like, it's like we were talking about the other part that I was going to segue us up into the pro part is when you do that in a professional game as well, like they did, go down there and you don't get anything. You got grown men over there. That demoralizes us too. It's like,
sure.
Man. It's like in one sense, if you watch that scenario, if the 2 plays before hadn't got totally like stuffed, Yeah, it's like then you go for it. But you had no momentum whatsoever. You get all the way down there, you get nothing. The defense goes on the field like, man, we should have took the points. That's the first thing that crops into your head. We should have took the points. And then they hit us defensively with something weird. But this time they didn't. But then they hit us with something weird. But then offensively, we come out there trying to make concessions because we've ran through our first 15 plays. We don't have nothing else to surprise them.
Speaking of taking the points, man, I got to circle back to this Michigan game last night. I was on the Michigan bandwagon firmly, okay?
Oh, so you was with Ric Flair.
I was with Ric Flair. Ric Flair and I are in two different places, but we were wooing together, and that went silent real fast. I mean, I put a parlay in, had Michigan in it. Obviously, that was the one leg that missed. But while the game's going on, the odds were getting real juicy in Michigan's favor because they're losing.
Right.
So I live bet them once, right? They go down by 14 points. Then the odds get real good. I live bet them again. Okay, so now I've got 3 separate bets on Michigan. And I get to the point where I'm like, all right, there is no hope for this. I need some insurance.
Okay.
Do I take TCU? No, because that was terrible odds. I would have had to bet an astronomical amount of money to get back what I wanted to get. So I put everything on a live bet on the over to go over 99.5. 96 points.
You just couldn't leave it alone, you little twerp.
It's sitting at 86 points at the end of the third quarter. I'm like, I need 2 touchdowns in this fourth quarter, and I'm good.
In the immortal words of Johnny from First Karate Kid, you just couldn't leave well enough alone, you little twerp.
No, I could not just leave well enough alone.
Nice front kick, Johnny. No.
Right. and if the esteemed sensei George Burgess is listening out there, my first karate teacher, I did not do well last night, sensei. So that was rough, man. That was really rough. But
it took everybody on a nice ride because it's like
it was exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. Because you used to over the past few years we're used to seeing just slaughters in both of these games actually. This year it was totally exciting. I think they got it right, and I think the other part too is adding the new teams in the foreseeable future, especially with the Rose Bowl putting them on notice. Which brings me to the first Rose Bowl. What's the day? 1902.
Okay.
But Michigan won 49-0. They beat Stanford. The MVP was some white guy named Neil. I don't know.
Okay.
Just a random thought that crossed
Just
my head.
a random thought.
Well, no, because the Rose Bowl put them on notice that we need to answer right now whether you're going to expand the Bowl Championship Series.
Right,
because
right.
And
it only took them, like 116 years to do that?
Well, no, they put them on notice because the Rose Bowl kept getting kicked out of the national championship game, which doesn't, you played the Rose Bowl. It's the granddaddy of them all, baby.
100%. Yeah, man, that is the creme de la creme.
Yes.
After that game is over, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, first of all, I took a bath on that game. Luckily, I was at work, so I was making money while I was losing it. But I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, we got the best game that we're going to see at this point.
Right.
It's not going to go any better than this. And then here comes Georgia and Ohio State.
Oh, man, that was and the funniest thing, though, is like listening to I like to tease the commentators in that because I've noticed that they have some of the people who were decent in college, but listening to them talk about football, I was like, yeah, no, because they were all burying Ohio State.
Yeah.
Even Lee Corso, who actually coached one season and lived in the stadium when he coached at Northern Illinois.
Your alma mater.
Yeah, a coach is not going to stay long when they don't buy a house and they live in the stadium.
They just live at the stadium. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's 1 year, 1 season. So he was like, he started talking about the Buster Douglas thing, and I was like, that's a bad analogy.
That's a terrible analogy.
I was like, one of the main reasons it's a bad analogy is because times have changed and they've made concessions. A lot of people think that but I don't know if you ever watched that fight. if you've watched that fight, you watch when Mike Tyson actually knocked him out.
Right.
And somebody was like, well, no, Buster still won. I was like, so why now when the fighter gets knocked down, the referee doesn't start counting from one. He looks to the official that's already started to count to get the count.
Right.
That's why the rule changed. So I thought that was the dumbest analogy ever.
That was a bad analogy.
Yeah. So, but it kind of went as that fight went. But actually, you know what? It was just funny. But everybody had Ohio State not winning that one.
All right. Well, we are going to chop to our first commercial break.
The first one?
The
Already?
first
So
one.
quickly?
Yes, sir. And we will be back with more Reality Check Radio after this. I'm Pete Visalli, Hollis Thomas to my left. Jim with us here at the Mud Hen, live in Wildwood on Rio Grande Ave. Stop by and say hello. We will be back after these commercial breaks. Reality Check Radio, the ultimate sports preview. All things Philadelphia sports, all things national sports, all things local sports. I'm Pete Visalli. This is Hollis Thomas, the Tank, to my left. Tank, we were talking before the break about Georgia and Ohio State, and we didn't really get into that too deeply, but what a slugfest that was, man.
It was a tremendous game because it started off, and I thought Ohio State was Ohio State was about to throttle them, and you turned away from it, and then you go back, you're like, wait a minute, it's back. They're fighting tooth and nail, and then the way Georgia fought back, and I think the turning point of that game truly though was Marvin Harrison Jr. not being in the game,
right?
Because it took one of their weapons out, and they had a guy who was a special teamer catch a touchdown, having to come in and play more than just special teams. They had a special teams demon who had earned a scholarship, which I love guys like that who come in and they earn their keep.
Yeah.
And they're always in the right place at the right time, and they just exploited the defense of Georgia for a hot second, but then they were able to come back and corral them. So once Marvin Harrison got hurt, it looked like it was a done dizzle for him.
Yeah, the local boy, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Junior, yeah.
Yeah, man. Always good to see guys like that coming from good stock and living up to the bill.
Yeah,
I mean,
because you see so many kids who try to follow in their father's footsteps, and things go awry, so to speak.
I mean, it's tough, on one end, their dad's not exactly going to be there all the time to give them the insight that they need.
Right.
And that's a lot of hype. Those are big shoes to fill, especially in Marvin Harrison's case.
Oh yeah.
It's like, did Jordan's kids ever even play basketball? I don't know if they did anything significant with it. Like,
I know the one kid is dating Scottie Pippen's baby mama or something, or ex-wife. so he in that sense, Scotty's a little pissed at Jordan.
Right.
I think it's
taking it to the hole in a different way.
Yeah, well, his son is getting some get back for dad.
Using a different avenue.
Yes, don't use a different avenue. But I haven't really paid attention to his kids. I think they probably. I think the only ones who I've seen is Shaquille O'Neal's son is doing pretty decent.
Who's okay, but he's not going to be his father.
Scottie Pippen.
Bronny James is not going to be his father. I mean, he looks good.
Scottie Pippen's son is doing actually pretty decent.
Scottie Pippen's son does look pretty good.
And it was funny because I had this conversation with one of my esteemed colleagues, Andrew Hurst, my guy from base.
Yes,
We were talking about just them, the pressure or the undue pressure or the lack thereof of kids whose dad was in the league, was in any professional league, because most of the time they're going to get the benefit of the doubt just because of who they are.
Yeah.
It's like okay, this may sell some tickets, but some people may resent that. So it was kind of a funny conversation, because at first I was like, man, no, they work real hard, and I was like, but then I was thinking about it. I was like, your name's Scottie Pippen Jr.
Right. Right.
People, by the time people get to the stadium or the arena and realize that it's not Scottie Pippen, it's like, oh damn, it's Junior.
It's Junior.
Well. It's kind of looking at like
Timmy Hardaway Jr. who's not a bad player, but I mean, it's like.
Well, yeah, that's different. Timmy Hardaway Jr. is actually a good player. It's like he took some, And you look at what's the kid named the kid Cole Beasley. He's pretty decent. But his dad wasn't there. Greg Anthony wasn't that great. He's a better announcer than he was a professional player.
Sure.
But his son is actually a lot better. A lot better than he was.
It's a guy named Tony Romo that's like that too. Better announcer than he is a player.
I didn't like him either one. We continue, that's one of the things here. We continue to celebrate mediocrity. If you're so damn excited, what the hell happened when you were playing?
Right.
Let a play happen. Like sometimes he has quality things to say. I'm not going to say he's totally terrible, but sometimes I know I'm not the only one. He reminds me of Chris Collins, one to say, "Shut the hell up."
Right.
Let the play happen. Let us see the play.
Well, he always wants to say what's going to happen before it happens. It's like, if you were so damn good at that. What was the problem when you were playing? Why didn't you know what was about to happen when you were on the field?
Yeah, one playoff victory.
Maybe not throw the ball to the other team with 1 minute left when you're down by a touchdown. There's a novel idea.
Yeah, it's like it was but the funniest thing that made me know that he thinks he knows everything was, I think. He was announcing the game one time, and the announcer said that the guy was going to miss a particular kick, and I think Tony Romo just lambasted him reprimanded him for stealing his thunder.
Right.
I was like, dude, it's just the kicker.
Right. That's my move.
It's Pat McAfee.
Right.
But no, it was.
Was the Seinfeld episode? Are you doing my move? That's my move.
Yeah, but no.
Is there a knuckle involved?
Well, it's one of those things there.
Yeah, circling back to the kids, it's almost like coaching, too, is in the same realm where when you get these guys that are like superstars, they don't have great success in coaching because it's the same thing when they're trying to teach. How does Michael Jordan say to somebody, I'm going to teach you to do what I did? How does he say, I mean, we saw it with, what was the Bears coach or the Bears linebacker, Singletary, Mike Singletary. How is he going to go out and lead a team as a head coach and do the way I did this? Especially in a time when the game is so different.
Yeah, the times are changing, and if you're going to coach, you have to know that. And instruction never changes. I think the will and the toughness has changed. It's like we were in a time where everybody was tough. And you were expressing that toughness by going through stuff and not saying stuff. Now everybody's heart is on their sleeve, so to speak.
Right.
And the team portion of it is like it's kind of like when I was at a little league game and everybody got to play. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't think at some point you have to teach your children the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
Sure.
And we've gone away from that, but I totally understood what Mike Singletary was saying. When he was saying, he was like, I can't play with it. It's like you can't play with and the act that I know you're talking about, it was just completely selfish, and I hate that too. It's like when you get a penalty and you know you're better than that. You know you're better than the penalty. You know what you're about to do. You know you're going to get caught. The one thing that we did learn as children, and I think we should still continue to teach it, the retaliator always gets caught.
100%.
The hit back guy always gets caught.
It's not the initiator. It's the retaliator
that
is going to get the penalty.
And you always it goes back to watching these games when all the guys are trying to be tough and stuff and are standing up. You know the officials are waiting to throw a flag for taunting.
Right. Yeah.
And I think the ultimate thing though was. A friend of mine is played college ball with me. What's up, Will Patrick? He sent me this. He said it was the greatest back and forth. Do you remember the game with T.O. was with the 49ers and they were playing the Cowboys?
Okay.
And he stood on the star.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like so you see.
And then Roy Williams ran a hit on the back.
No, that wasn't Roy Williams. That was George Teague.
Was it?
Yeah, it was George Teague.
I thought it was
George
Roy
Teague
Williams.
at the time. So when you look at it, I like the fact that Emmitt Smith went and did it and slammed the ball. But then you see T.O. go and score again and go stand there. But George Teague comes running from the end zone, and I'm saying it was a great exchange. But you think if George Teague had to use just a little bit of that energy he used to go stop him from standing on the star,
stop him from
scoring, maybe we wouldn't be in this position.
100%.
And the one thing is like the one thing that I loved about I played under Ray Rhodes. The one thing I loved about him, he's like, if you don't want to see the celebration, stop them from doing what causes them to celebrate.
I love it.
If you don't want to see them celebrate, don't give them anything to celebrate about. All that extra energy afterwards, it's one is going to get you either ejected, it's definitely going to get you a penalty, and it's just selfish. It's like, why weren't you this damn mad during the play?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like I don't know if you remember Devin Booker. They played against. I want to say it was either Kyrie Irving was with the Celtics or the Brooklyn Nets. But Devin Booker had about 48 points. He wanted a 50-burger. So the time was kind of running out, and he tried to score anyway. Now, the other 48 points Kyrie Irving had no problem with. It was the last two. I was like, dude.
Because Kyrie probably lost the last 2 cents that was in his head at that point, man. That guy is 7 shades of crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame. We're talking about T.O. and we segue right into him.
Right.
This guy makes T.O. look like the Jalen Hurts. You know, the guy in the locker room that you just is a darling and everybody wants to play for. I mean, how many times is he going to get another chance somewhere else, get gifted the wish that he wants to go somewhere else before he says, I mean, he thinks the world is flat. He's burning incense on the opposite team's court that he begged to go to.
The one thing that I will tell you about that is it depends on your skill set. The risk of a forward team is based on your skill set, and his skill set is one that he'll continue to get chances because there's nobody better than him going to the hole.
Right.
He can hit a three-pointer like nobody's business. He's got ice in his veins.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't like a lot of the antics that he did, but the last one about him saying about him posting that I think all of us because I immediately jumped to conclusions as well. I didn't know the movie he talked about is posted on Amazon. I was like, and it says played at Shaq's Theater.
Right.
And it's to me, I thought we blew it out like way out of proportion, but it was coming from him. And so when you have that reputation of being a jerk,
Right.
And so everybody's going to take it that way. It's just kind of like when you see something happen, and some of the stuff that happened with T.O. may not have even been his fault. But given his reputation, we're going to err on the side of you done something jacked up to put you in this situation.
Listen.
Because so many times before, you always play the victim. That's like nobody wants to hear that being the victim crap all the time. And it's just like with the Kyrie Irving stuff, it's like nobody's going to come to bat for you because you took some time away from the team for your birthday. We thought it was because of some personal issue. It was because it was your birthday.
Yeah.
I was like, it's stuff like that. And you just like, no, and that's the thing, accountability. Your accountability and your availability. It's like as a player, if that's my buddy, I know how to take him.
Sure.
He says he's going to be there. I was like, I'm 60% sure he's going to be there. I was like, but the other 40% either he's going to do something stupid and not be able to come. He's going to say something to piss me off, and I don't want him to come. Or he's going to come and make a jerk out of himself. And then last 10% is just like, yeah, it's up in the air. I was like, it's like you have people like that in your life, and we make concessions for them all the time, but they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt due to their past, things that they've done in the past, and that's why immediately I'm talking about everybody blew up about it, and I've learned not to immediately make my opinion until I find out all the facts.
Sure.
Like, and then the fact that you can find that movie so easily and readily, he didn't make the movie either. That's the other part too. And I was laughing because I was like, we just jumped all over him like nobody's business. And it was because of the things he did in the past. It's like it just cracks me up when I look at the way things are done in society now. But the other part to that too is, you should know better. We've had so many examples.
Yes.
So many different examples of when people do stuff to that magnitude that backfires in their face.
And you're also watching Kanye get lambasted
Oh my
for
God.
this. You know,
Well,
it's not.
see, you can't mention it. Like it would like before we found out exactly what we found out about what Kyrie was saying. You could mention them in the same sentence, but now I don't know. I've seen some stuff when Kanye is not. I don't think he's sane. I'm sorry.
No, he's lost it.
Yeah,
So on that note, we are going to go to our next commercial break.
Oh, awesome.
I have a good
Awesome
story on
sauce.
the other end regarding T.O., my feelings on T.O.
Oh, your feelings on
And
T.O. Did you have a personal gripe with him or something of that nature?
We'll get to that on the other side of the break. I want to get your opinion on it. I want you
Okay.
to hear this because you were living this in reality while I was going through it on the other end.
It was
So we're going to
funny.
go to our next commercial break. You are listening to Reality Check, the ultimate sports preview, 3 hours before every Eagles game. Hollis the Tank Thomas to my left. I'm Pete Visalli. We are live at the Mud Hen Brewery in Wildwood on Rio Grande Ave. Stop by, say hello. We're here until 1 o'clock and a little bit beyond. We'll catch you after the break. Reality Check Radio live at the Mud Hen on Rio Grande Ave in Wildwood. 10-1 today. We are here live. I'm Pete Visalli. Hollis Thomas, the tank to my left. Yeah, buddy. So before the break, we were talking about Kyrie Irving.
Yes,
we were talking about T.O.
Let me set you up because you have to tell the story.
Sure.
We're talking about Kyrie Irving, and then then we got into the T.O. ordeal. And you were saying about how I lived up close and personal.
Yes.
The fiasco, the sit-ups in the driveway. The don't talk to. Oh, that's right. I didn't tell you about that.
Right.
I'm gonna set you up like
the sit-ups
this.
in the driveway.
What led up to the sit-ups in the driveway? You knew about the contract situation.
Oh, I know the whole story behind that.
But no. So the thing that got him sent home was when one of the coaches were trying to speak to him. One of the offensive coaches were trying to speak to him, and he told them distinctly, "Don't talk to me. You tell my coach what you want me to know."
Okay. Okay.
I was like, oh God, this thing, yeah.
So I am aware of how that all went down, and he wanted more money. He was,
No. See, there's a misnomer right there.
Right.
It wasn't. He wanted more of his money on the front end of the contract
right.
because the Eagles,
he wanted the contract to be rewritten.
Well, not rewritten. See, the other part that you see, this is inside stuff that I can give you. They told him to hurry up and sign the contract because of the way things went down. Back then, the email and stuff was not readily available as it is today. So the fax, his agent faxed something to saying that he wanted to become an unrestricted free agent. He faxed it to the 49ers. They act like they didn't get the fax and traded him to the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
So the Eagles had the contract.
He was playing on a dead-end contract.
But his contract would have been up with that fax. He would have been an unrestricted free agent. He could go where he wanted. He could come to us. So the Eagles gave him a contract that was kind of like backloaded.
Right.
And the NFL Players Association told them don't sign it because the Birds. At that point they were running a bit of a crappy thing with Joe Benner, getting rid of players when they get to 30.
Now, tell me if this is true.
Go ahead.
When he was making noise about it,
right?
Did Donovan go out and say, "This is not how we do things in Philadelphia"? Basically.
No.
Wipe your chin and walk away.
No.
Fall in line. So that didn't happen.
No, that didn't happen. What happened, see, the part where that really pissed him off was they said that we'll fix this in the offseason. Hurry up and sign a contract because of all the turmoil that it was causing. Let's get this signed and get this deal done, and we'll fix it in the offseason. That's what they told him. Now, they've done this to other players who didn't have the star power with T.O. or wasn't able to pitch as much of a fit as he pitches.
And also didn't catch 10 balls in the Super Bowl for 122 yards on a partially broken ankle.
Exactly. But none of us would have tried to do that.
Right.
Because we know the Birds.
Right.
Now, we knew the regime at the time. So then when they don't do that, they tell him, they start giving them back talk because they told him don't sign it because it was backloaded, and they said they would fix it in the offseason. Well, come the offseason, they were not trying to fix it, and they tried to make it look like he pulled something out of the air.
Okay.
And so when you tell one of your employees that, and then he comes and does what T.O. did, and you don't do what you said you were going to do. He's going to be pissed.
I have a very esteemed colleague listening in right now named Gina, and she's super familiar with being told things from our bosses and not getting delivered on those.
Well, you're not, but
Gina,
you're not
myself and Terrell Owens know how you feel.
Well, Terrell Owens deals with it a little differently.
He did.
See, the part
we didn't go do sit-ups in our driveway.
Well, no, but see, the part that you missed about Donovan telling him to suck it up, the one part was apparently he asked Donovan to say something because Donovan's name at the time was Donovan Reed. He was one of Andy Reid's kids. You get the quarterback. They always make concessions for the quarterback, and the quarterback, if it's a franchise quarterback and he's doing good, the owner, not only will the owner, but the head coach and him are like that. So I was putting up these two, crisscross fingers. And the thing was, he asked Donovan to say something, on his behalf, and he said, "I don't get into people's personal business about their contract." But then
He went out and got Brian Westbrook's back.
Well, yeah, went out on a lot on nationally and said,
Yes.
pay this man.
Yes. Yeah.
And so basically, that basically started the chain of events. And
Right.
the other part of the chain of events too is if you looked at it when Donovan said like certain little snarky things throughout the media, it's the way that you put things. It's like we've made it to the NFC Championship before without T.O.
So this is a perfect segue into this because I spent a fair amount of my life defending Donovan. You know, I was not so thrilled with T.O. On the surface as, you know, a young 20-year-old watching this Eagle fanatic, still in college, just getting out of college. So I have a Terrell Owens jersey. Okay? And Eagles are playing Washington in Washington either Sunday night or Monday night. I'm driving down 95. I have tickets to this game. An ex-girlfriend of mine and I are going. And I'm listening to a radio station that you and I have both been into the building of before. And you much more prominently than me. News breaks that something has taken place in the locker room, some sort of skirmish. They're working on the details. However, T.O. is not going to be playing that night. He's going to be on the bench, and then at the end of the game, he will be suspended for the remainder of the season, at which time they're going to release him and get nothing in return. And I look down at myself at this T.O. jersey that I'm wearing, and I'm like saying some things that I can't say on radio right now.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. And that goes back to what we were just saying. Well, you don't have all the
I didn't have all the facts.
Yeah, we didn't have all the facts. It's like we jump to conclusions, and that's what they want you to do. They want to paint. They want to get out. A lot of times people want to get out in front of things and make the other guy look bad because they're just going to print the truth on the back page. Pause, not that back page, but the back page of the news.
Hi-yo.
So it's like the funny thing about that whole situation is you didn't have to be on anybody's side. You just knew one part was right and one part was wrong. They didn't do them right. When you run a business, if you don't want your employees to steal, treat them right.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
If you don't
take
want your
care of the people that take care of you.
And not only that, if they're doing a good job and they keep you in business, you're not doing it alone. Yes, you're putting up stuff, but 50%, not 100% of the work is what your employees do and what they present. They're representing you, and if you want to be represented properly, then you pay them well. You pay them well, and you make concessions for them. I was like, but what they used to do. That's why when I think Howie learned a lot from watching the way that Joe Banner did things.
Right.
And Joe Banner and Andy Reid, that era of people did things. Because T.O. wasn't the first person they did like that. Those other guys, they had to be escorted out by Butchiano. My boy Butch was here. The head of security.
Oh, yeah,
had to come in there. There were some guys in there flipping desks in front of Andy because they told them one thing and went another way.
Right.
You can't do that to people and think you're going to win some stuff. But in the end, you're never going to get over the top. And when they stopped doing guys like that, that's when the Birds got over the top, when we won that Super Bowl. When Howie figured it out, if you treat your employees good, but better than good, you will win.
100%.
Yeah, you will win. And if you notice how he's treating the guys. He's stopped those are his guys.
There is a fine line between business and family.
Yes.
But the thing is, in this business, you have to find that line to get success.
The line is don't lie to anybody.
Right.
Don't sugarcoat anything. Don't tell. It's like when you I don't know when you play. You play high school ball, right?
Played high school ball.
It's like it's like the coach. If you weren't getting in, he always say get back. You're not getting in today.
Right.
It's like because he doesn't have to make concessions.
100%.
You want to be on the team. It's
100%.
like now when you're paying somebody, but you want to hold on to them because you don't know if the other guy is going to be good, or you want to cheapen what he does, and because you got somebody younger, but you want him to take a pay cut.
Sure.
But you don't want him to take a work decrease. It's like, is my work going to decrease? Have you ever just paid attention to that when they ask the player to take a pay cut? It's like, because your production is not that great. I was like, well, am I going to be taking less plays?
I'm not trying to hear that.
Yeah, am I going to be taking less plays? I was like, I'm asking for a friend.
Right.
But when they do what they did to T.O., which is mean, and the thing that occurred in the locker room, that was he had a bit of a tussle with Hugh.
With Hugh.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he go after Donovan and Hugh stepped in?
No.
It was just between him and Hugh.
Just between him and Hugh. And the other part was the Donovan part. He didn't. Some people was on Donovan. They said he divided the locker room. Some people was on Donovan's side. No, nobody was on nobody's side. A lot of people just kind of, at that point, you're just worried about yourself and worried about doing good and doing your job, because it's like they had killed the camaraderie. When you kill the camaraderie and the closeness of a family relationship in a team, you get the teams that you see that's going around where guys you're losing.
Right.
It's like you start losing. The coaches, you don't really respect the coaches. You don't respect what they're putting out. And the scheme that they have, it's not that it doesn't work. It's like the guys don't believe in it, so they're only going to play good enough to keep their job.
Sure.
And good enough to keep your job is not good. When you're a pro, it's not going to get you anything but sent home.
Well, that said, a couple of minutes later, they got more details, and that's what came out was that he tried to go after Donovan, and Hugh stepped in.
No.
And a tussle
ensued. I was there.
So
it was like some mouses pissing on cotton.
Okay.
The fight, it wasn't even a fight.
All right. Then that sucks.
It was small.
Because that's something I would like to see, to be honest. I mean, Hugh is nobody to mess with, but at the same time, T.O. can probably handle himself.
Yeah, he's a physical specimen, but you never know until they put on the glove.
100%.
Le'Veon Bell and Adrian Peterson.
So I look down at this jersey that I'm wearing.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
You didn't see that fight, did you? Le'Veon Bell and Adrian Peterson.
I did see it. I did see it.
Hey, I was like, wow. You would think, but you would think it would have went the other way.
I know.
I was
got some scrap in him still, man.
Like,
he might have a second career on his hands.
You know what came to mind was Rocky when Apollo Creed was fighting the Russian.
Right.
It's supposed to be an exhibition. I was cracking up. Throw the damn towel.
That was ugly, man.
Oh, God. It was
Adrian Peterson.
And they kept rewinding it. It's kind of like being, I was like.
Yeah, you're just watching it over and over again.
Exactly.
And you can't turn away.
Nah.
Why would you want to?
Nah, it was just funny, dude. But it's like when you, the other part to that T.O. thing was, T.O. did walk into the locker room and look in one direction after the little scuffle between him and Hugh and say, yeah, whoever else wants some, know where to find me. But he was only looking towards the quarterback's part of the locker room.
Okay. So maybe that's how the telephone game got spun, because he wanted a piece of Donovan. He just didn't actually make a move at it.
Well, when you're on the same team with somebody, I think they were spending a lot of time together, and you find out that you could tell Donovan was a little salty because the way you guys took T.O. You guys booed
him. We did. We booed Donovan. We wanted Ricky Waters.
At the draft. You wanted Ricky Waters. As like
Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams. I'm sorry.
Not Ricky Waters. We had Ricky Waters.
We wanted Ricky Williams.
We had Ricky Waters for who? For what?
Yeah.
But
for what?
When you do that to him, I don't think he ever got over that, personally. I don't think he ever got over it. That's in my opinion, because it was like you see how he talks nowadays and the things. He seems like a hater and a bitter old bird.
A bitter old bird, no pun intended.
Yeah, that's my guy. But it's like you see, you see the things that he's going through now, and it seems like he's going out of his way to throw shade on the Birds at times.
All the time. At first it was Carson Wentz, and he got lucky that he turned out to be right with that one. Because there was no actual analysis or thought behind that. It's just hate. Now he's doing it a little bit to Jalen Hurts. He's not sure. And it's like, what are you not sure about?
Yeah.
What is he not showing you? Because every time you ask Jalen Hurts of something, he delivers. So, I mean, it was crazy because I spent so much time defending Donovan, and then I got the whole story. But when I'm driving along, the Christiana Mall's right there.
Right.
I pull off into Macy's. I take off my T.O. jersey while I'm walking in, throw it in the trash can.
Wow.
I bought a brand new Javon Kearse jersey at Macy's.
The freak.
The freak. It was like all they had. I think it was like they had like Javon Kearse and maybe like David Akers and Brian Westbrook, I think, were the only 3 jerseys that were there.
Did you get a Westbrook?
I didn't get Westbrook. I already had a Westbrook.
Oh, okay.
So I got Javon Kearse's jersey. We go to this Washington game, and contrary to popular belief, Philadelphia fans are not the only people that throw things. Okay? Reggie Brown catches a touchdown pass in that game.
Right.
Runs, I think, maybe 40-some-odd yards into the end zone. Everybody's on their feet. I stand up. You know, I'm trying to be respectful. And don't get me wrong, I can talk some smack. I can talk some smack with the best of them. But when I'm in somebody else's house, I'm respectful about it because that drives me nuts at the link. I'm not going to go out of my way to throw something at you.
Right.
But if you're hooting and hollering unwarranted, if you're the first one on your feet, you're not standing up because other people are in front of you are standing up, you're trying to see. If you're drawing attention to yourself, attention you're going to get. I got you. I got you.
So,
you want sauce? I've got sauce.
So you got a beer thrown on you?
So I didn't get a beer thrown on me.
Okay.
Someone, I'm assuming it's a female, but we're talking about Washington fans, so it might have been a male. They removed the top off of their lip gloss and threw it at me, and it hit me in the back and exploded like pink glitter lip gloss all over this brand new jersey. I can't stand glitter.
So you're
I
bedazzled?
hate glitter. I don't go to strip clubs. I hate glitter. You can't get rid of it. If glitter comes in contact with you, you're going to be finding glitter on yourself for months. For months.
So you were bedazzled.
I was bedazzled. I was bedazzled. And then I got into a skirmish on the way out. You know? Somebody got a little physical with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and then that didn't work out so well for me because it was her and I didn't have anybody to get my back, so to speak. But
so that's why she's your ex-girlfriend, am I correct?
Amongst other reasons.
Because she didn't have your back, see?
We can go with that.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine. But, yeah, man, T.O., all this time I'm sitting here, you know, I got beat up at that game. I basically had a brand new jersey ruined. I should have just kept my damn T.O. jersey. T.O. was right this whole time. The whole time. When I found this out, I'm like, damn, man.
And so that was how long ago? That was like almost like 15, 16 years ago?
It would have been 2005.
Yes.
2005.
Like 17 years ago.
They went to the Super Bowl in 2004. 2005 was the following season.
Yep.
Then 2006 is when you left, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they traded me in what was it? Yeah, 06 draft.
Some team that we are going to be talking about.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about. Yeah, they traded me. It wasn't my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault. Wasn't your fault.
They traded me.
Yeah.
and
you fed the birds some crow once you got the opportunity.
Yes. Well, you're supposed to do that too. When somebody shuns you, yeah, you're supposed to shun them back.
100%.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for drafting. What was the boy's name? Broderick Bentley.
Okay.
Broderick Bunkley, yeah.
Broderick Bunkley. That's right.
That's what you guys got.
Broderick Bunkley.
What was the
and Max Jean Gillis.
And Max Jean Gillis. That's what you guys got.
Who I liked. I liked Max Jean Gillis. I was excited about that pick. As you told me the other day at lunch, he was a hog, just not the way you wanted him to be.
He was god awful.
Yeah, he was god awful, man.
And then they traded me to the Saints for draft position and a pick, and the Saints drafted Jari Evans, a Philadelphia native, actually went to Bloomsburg. He's an all-pro.
You know, we had a few of those examples.
6 or 7 year all-pro.
In your time.
One of the better guards in the NFL for quite some time.
100%. 100%.
Currently living in Philadelphia.
Jari Evans was devastating. I would have much rather had them keep you and draft Jari Evans and have the two of you on the inside. We also let Derek Burgess go after that season, too. He went out to the Raiders, and it was like, you know.
We also let, before maybe a little bit before your time, we let William Fuller go.
Oh, yeah. I remember William Fuller.
We drafted John Harris.
Yeah.
See, some of you guys don't even know who John Harris is. See?
Nope. Nope. I do not know who John
I'm a
Harris
bevy
is.
of
I'm not going
use-
to pretend to know who John Harris is. And
I'm a
after
bevy of
this conversation is over, I'm going to continue to not know
I'm a
who John
bevy
Harris
of
is.
useless knowledge.
You,
It's like,
well,
like,
you know, here on the reality check, it is useful.
yeah, it's,
You
it's,
know?
it's useful because it's like a lot of times when you think, not so much you think you know someone, somebody, I call it an enlightening moment because it's knowledge that somebody else may have, but they choose not to say anything about it.
Right.
The reality check.
Reality check.
Stop it. It's like, because literally, the funniest thing about that situation with William Fuller was a great friend of mine. He's down in the Virginia area. He comes up every now and again. They were trying to sign him for a crappy contract. While he was out in San Diego, about to sign with San Diego, the Chargers at the time,
Right.
they tried to offer him. They said, "Oh, we would have gave you that." I was like, "Yeah, right now." And then the jacked
I
up part is
liked Will Fuller.
yeah, because he went to two straight Pro Bowls. Playing at that time, a lot of people don't know playing left end was the hardest position to play because offenses were right-handed, and that was the blood, not so much blood and guts, but black and blue. As far as like when people run the Power Bowls, that's when the Cowboys had their true runner because they had their big ass offensive line. Larry Allen played left guard. Eric Williams played left tackle. They played that side of the line because most teams were right-handed, and you're running over there. And you're running hard. The double teams come harder, faster. Pause. But this it's brutal though.
Right.
And a lot of teams were like that. And it was hard to get a double-digit sacks in back-to-back years from left end because those are normally the big slow ones.
All right. Well, it is time for another commercial break.
Oh yeah.
On the other end, we've got a lot, man.
Yes.
I still want to get into Phillies. I
Yeah.
still want to get into Sixers. I really want to get into Flyers.
Oh, yeah.
We are on a 2-game winning streak.
Ah.
What's going on
2 in a row.
with the orange and black? And the Eagles are playing at 1 o'clock.
Yes, they are against the Saints.
Yes, sir. So,
Go Birds.
on the other end of the break, we've got Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, Eagles talk, jam-packed here on the Reality Check, the Ultimate Sports Preview. I'm Pete Visalli. This is Hollis Thomas, the Tank, former Philadelphia Eagle. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
They're starting to show up. Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds, baby. Let's go. We are here at the Mud Hen on Rio Grande Avenue in Wildwood. Come in and say hi. Get a picture with Hollis. We'll be back on the other end of the break. Reality Check Radio. We are back here at the Mud Hen in Wildwood on Rio Grande Ave. And I've got to say, this place is like a winter wonderland, man. I mean, I hadn't been here, but I love it here. You got great Christmas decorations outside. There's a nice outdoor situation with heaters. This place is sweet, man. We scored a nice, accommodating building for us to have this little radio show.
Yes, we did. I was just looking outside. I didn't get to see that portion last time when we were here. I said, it is lovely outside, the lights and the whole shebang.
Yeah, man. I mean, what's better? Wildwood by the sea.
Yes. It's actually a pretty lovely day because it was raining earlier. And it was raining last night, rather. But it turns out to be a nice day. It should be mild. So we should get a nice crowd here.
Yeah, man. Drew and Will are behind the bar. Stop in.
Yes.
The drinks are cold. We have a lot to talk about. So before the break, we were chatting about T.O.
Yes.
We were chatting about Donovan, throwing a little bit of shade the Eagles' way.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, Flyers, big win last night, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes. We were talking about this before, like before the show, a few days before the show, and I just like the way the coach is currently going about things, and we were discussing a lot of stuff, which would lead us into football. But the way the coach is he's being. Some people may think he's being a jerk because he's calling people out on their play. A lot of times, some coaches don't do that, but early on, the coaches will protect you if you're playing hard and you're doing not exactly, but doing what he's asking you to do, asking of you. A lot of times, players get butthurt over when somebody's trying to make you do your job,
It's like you were saying earlier, man. If you don't like the celebration, stop them from doing what is causing them to celebrate.
Yes.
If you don't like the bad words that I have to say,
yes,
play better.
Yes, exactly. Not only that, it's like when you have a new coach, and we discussed this as well. Having a new coach it's kind of like being under new management. All the smooth stuff that you had going with the previous manager or the previous coach, all that's out the door. You have to prove yourself and prove that you could help us win. If you can't help us win, then there's no need of you being here. Not only that, you also you have to do what we ask of you, without question, without just being one of those guys who still wants to do what they want to do. And I think a lot of coaches come in and they're a jerk for a little bit, and then you get to start seeing their personality because they're trying to create. A lot of people say create a culture of just doing the little things right.
100%.
Like being on time to meetings, practicing hard, and then even when you're practicing hard, not doing stuff to your teammates that's going to put us behind the eight ball because you want to be a practice player all-star and hurt a guy.
100%.
It's like so, and then when you don't because that's the I think that's the line or it's the difference in games and stuff, because when you look at it, the little things, when you pay attention to detail, when you're on time, when you know what you're supposed to do, you're not giving that ever so prominent excuse. I didn't get the call. Well, 10 other people got the call. it's like I didn't get the call. So you have or you're loafing. You're not playing hard.
The fun's over, man.
Yes.
I'm here now because you got the last coach fired.
Yeah.
So if you think I'm just going to step in and run things the way you were, it was pretty. Things are about to change.
Yes.
I'm here because you guys weren't doing your job, and now your coach doesn't have a job. So guess what?
Yes.
Fun is over.
It's like, it was the funniest thing is I can't remember which coach said it, but it was like that floated last year. That's why you guys were losing.
Right.
It's like, and he said it that way because everything was we up to that point, and say, oh, that's why you guys were losing last year.
Right.
It cut like a knife, but it was the truth.
Yeah.
It was like when you don't put your job first, or if you're claiming to be a part of a team, not doing your part, you're not part of that team. You're part of the problem.
Listen, man, I love John Tortorella.
Oh, yeah.
I was so excited when we signed him, mainly because he was not going to be on the other side anymore. I mean, that dude has been a thorn in Philadelphia's side from New York Rangers to Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and it's all teams that have delivered painful losses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just so refreshing to see him come in because my parents are at the bar now. I was at a Flyers game with my stepdad in 2004. Flyers are playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning. John Tortorella is the coach. Game 6, okay? I fell down the stairs, but that's another story for another time. Flyers are losing this game with like a minute and a half left. I'm not even watching. I got my face down in my hands, and I'm like, we're going to lose to these guys again. We're going to lose to John Tortorella again. And I hear the building erupt. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, could this be possible right now? Did they really just score and tie this game up with a minute left? And then I heard the goal horn, and I'm like, it had to be a goal. They tied the game with like a minute left. Keith Primo kicked the puck from the one side of the goal to the other, skated around the back of the net, and banged it in on the other side. It was incredible. I didn't see it. My stepdad saw it. I had my face in my hands. I couldn't believe that we were about to lose this game. It was Game 6. They forced Game 7. Lost Game 7.
Yeah.
Lost Game 7. They had to go back down to Tampa Bay. And then the Lightning went on to the Stanley Cup, and they beat Vancouver, who set their city on fire because, you know, Philadelphia is the only city in the world that has bad fans. But
well, I beg to differ. With the fan thing, they got us rated number 1, and then they don't like us, and it's true. We don't care.
That's
they don't
right.
Like us. We
That's
don't care.
right. I should have worn that shirt.
Yeah.
I have a shirt that says "No one likes us. We don't care."
Yeah, we just had a Dallas fan come up here with a couple of Eagles fans.
I've worn this shirt every single game so far this season.
Oh, okay. So you're 13-3, and it was 13-2 in that shirt?
Yes, and I'm undefeated with these socks on. I did not wear them last week.
Okay.
I got a call late on Thursday night, and my boss told me, listen, plans have changed. I need you to be somewhere else tomorrow. I had a long drive early in the morning, and I didn't wear my Eagle socks.
All right, choir minds want to know. Those socks have been washed, right?
Listen,
I'm just saying.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Note to
we don't
self,
need to talk about if my socks have been washed or
Note
not.
to self, that's either bad meat or good cheese.
I put one chair in between us for a reason,
Okay.
Hollis.
I just saw them. I looked down. He was like, "These are my lucky socks." I
Yeah,
was like,
man.
When a person says something's lucky, that means they have yet to sanitize it.
You didn't have any lucky socks all those years that you played?
No.
No lucky
I like to wear
boxers. You
no.
didn't have like a practice jersey or something. No.
No, I like
Just
to wear.
whatever you grabbed is what you
like
grabbed.
to just it's called. I don't know. Lucky, and not wash it, not sanitize it. That creates fungus, man. Wow. I'm learning a lot about you.
I am highly superstitious. If I played hockey, football, and lacrosse most of my life.
Okay.
So if I had a good game, everything that was on my body at that point stayed on my body until I had a bad game at game time.
So you were the guy that was passing around the heebie-jeebies in the locker room, huh? Because you know they wash our stuff together.
Yeah. Maybe in college. In college, yeah, I was probably not washing things, but I had a very diligent mother that was, constantly washing my clothes. So, there might have been times where the luck gotten washed out of them, and it was her fault. It wasn't my fault that I had a bad game. Well, she washed my lucky underwear.
Well, the one superstition that I guess you call it a superstition, my pregame meal was always bacon, eggs, and some type of biscuit or muffin.
Okay. So it was a little superstition.
Yeah, a little bit, but I thought it was more so a preparation.
Right,
Feeding. Once the gladiators had a quality meal, yes.
Yeah.
Once the Gladiators had a quality meal like bacon, and nothing burps better than bacon. Tell you what, once you've had that quality meal of bacon and eggs, and you wash it down with a couple of biscuits or muffins,
There's
you ready to
nothing
go out?
better than bacon.
Yes, you go out and punish the people, and put them on notice that yes, I play defense tackle or nose guard.
Yes, sir. All right, we are up against our next break.
Already?
Yes,
Wow.
sir. Stay tuned. We've got more for you from the Mud Hen in Wildwood on Rio Grande Ave. I'm Pete Visalli. Hollis, the Tank Thomas, former Philadelphia Eagle
Go
to
Birds.
my left. Stop by, say hi, get a picture. He's not as scary as he appears. I promise.
You still have on those socks, though.
I do still have on the socks. Stay on his side of the table. We'll be back after these commercial breaks. Live at the Mud Hen in Wildwood on Rio Grande Ave. This is Reality Check, the ultimate sports preview. I'm Pete Visalli. Hollis the Tank Thomas to my left. And I think it's Birds time, baby. We do want to get into some Phillies and some Sixers talk because everybody is
Yes.
trending upward right now.
Yes, they are.
But
yes, they are.
it is
That's
about that time.
Yeah, it's
We've been
about
on
that time.
air for about an hour and 20 minutes and not fully touched on the birds.
No, we haven't. Not just yet.
So we've got a good game today, man, and there are some implications going. We haven't gotten total confirmation yet if Jalen Hurts is starting or if.
I'm thinking like 85%. I think he's going to start.
Do you really?
Yeah, mainly because the practice day that they chose to use him on Thursday is normally the hardest practice in the NFL because you go through a lot of the goal line stuff, your goal line offense and short yardage, goal line short yardage, third down, and 2-minute drill.
Okay.
That's the day to do that. And so if you got him in there doing all that, that means because Wednesday is only the introduction to the game plan and doing some run stuff to get because guys like Wednesday used to be my hardest practice because I was a first and second down guy. So you do a lot of the run stuff. Then at a certain point during Thursday practice, I was pretty much done because unless somebody went down. And they wanted me to take 2-minute drill. 2-minute drills. It was the conditioning portion of practice at the end. But when the guy comes, he takes that particular practice and he takes the reps with the ones. I think they're damn near sure that he's going to start.
So we will keep our eyes on that and see when we get definite confirmation if he is playing or not.
The other part to that too is the doubtful part is it's like we're not making concessions for the other team. He's doubtful. He's on the injury list. That doesn't give you any way to prepare for him. So
and you know as well as anybody else, that's Sirianni's way of saying you don't get to know.
It's not the first time
It's
not the first time a coach has said that.
Right.
It's like we were just talking about hockey. When they list a hocky injury, they say upper or lower
body injury. Right.
They don't get into specifics, mainly because they don't want to give you an opportunity to prepare for them too well.
Well,
just
also
and
with
hope for the
hockey, when there is an injury, it's got to be somewhat severe.
Yeah.
Because those guys aren't going out with turf toe.
No, they're not.
They're getting their faces glued shut after they took a 90-mile-an-hour puck to the cheek and then playing 6 or 7 minutes later.
Because I often thought who's the bigger gladiator. I think it's hockey because the blades and stuff, and then the stick. You have a stick as well.
Those guys are
And
just
you can
a
fight,
different
too.
blade of.
That's the only-
It's a different breed of athlete,
Yeah.
man. They're just different.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, you can fight.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they let you fight in football?
Well,
I think it would go a little differently, though.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as poetic and organized as it is in hockey, where
Well,
the
you take
refs
off your
can
gloves.
just put it to a stop when they're ready for it to be done. I would.
the guys are too big.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see Hollis Thomas and Warren Sapp trying to get broken up by Ed Hockley. You know?
And the funniest part, though, is like he wouldn't have to break us up because after about 10 to 12 seconds of swinging with all that equipment on,
You guys are going to be spent.
you're going to be extremely tired. But
Right.
I envy boxers.
Yeah, man. Being in fight shape's different.
Yes, it is.
It is. It's totally
Trust
different.
me, I fought in practice a few times, and the one of the times the punishment was no, you don't get to go off to the side and get water and get untired. You have to play the rest of because I was on the first unit, so it was 2 plays into a 6 plays that they take us before they go to the 2 units. Me and I want to say it was Doug Brzezinski. The Doug Brzezinski, he's probably listening. He's my buddy. This is a 2nd round pick here. So me and him, we kind of he held me on the first play, then he held me on the second play, and I took a fist to the second hole. And I started hitting him. He started hitting me. We just slapping at each other. It's like you have on equipment. That's the one thing that you can't forget. So it's just a lot of just slapping, but our hands are padded up.
Right.
So then,
and you got helmets on.
yeah. So then, as we go into the side, the coach is like, "Nah, you got to finish. You got to finish this series. Get back out there."
That was Ray Rhodes?
No, that was Andy Reid.
Was it Andy?
It was Andy
Okay.
Reid. Get back out there.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
I remember Stats looking at Doug. I was like, "Yeah, this is probably going to be the worst place ever in the history of football in practice." Because it was like we kind of just stood there and looked at each other after that.
This is the reality check that you get on Reality Check Radio, man.
And note to
You're
self,
not listening to Joe Buck tell stories about when he fought Doug Brzezinski in practice. You know, these are the inside scoops that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And
but I never fought. I won't say that I never fought again, but I picked and choose when I fought. I would always make sure it was the last play or the second to the last play of the series in which I was in there.
So I've worked with Seth before, Seth
Right.
Joyner, and I had a good question for him. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask you the same question. Was there somebody that stands out to you when you played that just you would have liked to have not had padding on your hands and a helmet? Is there someone out there that was just you would like to be in a room with him for a few minutes?
Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just didn't like him.
I love that.
I just didn't like him at all.
I love that.
It's like it was nothing that they did. Well, yeah, it was. It was some of the antics and stuff. It was a first down. Sit your ass down. It's a first down. You karate chopping and stuff. Sit your happy ass down.
And you know what? Again, playing back into the reality check, you've got so many guys out there now that say what they're supposed to say, just fall in line, pontificating. And then you've got Michael Irving that's just nuts.
Yeah.
And is saying nonsense for the sake of saying nonsense on national TV. Like, the wind-up monkey clapping his hands.
Between him and Skip Bayless, a little
they
bit.
should be together. That's a marriage made in heaven.
I was totally laughing when I saw Skip Bayless try to make concessions for a 45-year-old Tom Brady. Talking about he's playing at the top of his game. I said the only reason Tom Brady is playing is because you cannot hit a quarterback. If you can hit a quarterback if you could even just make a respectable tackle on the quarterback, I guarantee you he would not be playing.
Right.
It's like all the chump rules is there. I call them chump rules now because you see a basic form tackle on the quarterback, and it's a penalty. You're the highest paid person on the field. You're supposed to be. They call you the toughest guy. They promote you as the toughest guy.
Oh yeah,
but
he's
you can't
tough.
take a base
He's
hit.
going
No.
out there. That guy smacked him in the head.
Soft as cotton. I did. The other part that cracks me up too is he's gotten fined for some dirty plays, like he kicked at a few people because they tackled him. I was like, no, you're playing football. You're supposed to get tackled, old guy.
Right.
And then the other part was like he tried to tell Shannon that he was jealous. I was like, seriously, Skip. That between him and Steve, only reason I give Stephen A pass is because he laughs at the Cowboys fans, and that's the only reason he gets a pass. But between them, I think they have in their entire career of sports actually playing, I think they probably have one or 1.5 points per game in their entire careers of playing. So we're getting quality information from those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
So, but it's
Stephen
like,
A.
Yeah.
He gets a pass
Yeah.
because he is the number one cowboy roaster
Yes.
on the national platform, and he's not shy about it, and
Yeah.
he goes over the top, and quite frankly, I love it.
I love it too.
The rest of the time,
I totally love the last part about. He said he's already come to grips with the Eagles losing against the Cowboys this time because Jalen Hurts wasn't playing, and and to me it was only right. It was only right that they won with our backup quarterback. We had 4 turnovers. I'm not going to even make those type of concessions because that wouldn't be a reality check. Reality check is they beat us with our backup quarterback and we beat them with theirs. Now the next time, hopefully both of us be full strength and we'll see what they can do.
right, 100%. And that is what Damian Woody was talking about today. He said, you have to give the Eagles a lot of credit. What they were able to do with the backup quarterback. And, I mean, it came right down to the last play.
Right.
We're not here to make excuses. There's no medals for valor.
No.
But,
no moral victories.
No moral victories. No. I mean, but the fact of the matter is the Eagles were winning that game 90% of the time.
Yeah.
That was firmly within reach.
Now,
it didn't go our way.
Yeah, now this is our first show, and I will be let you know that I will be roasting Jonathan Gannon on a weekly basis until he gets the testicle fortitude to send blitzes on 3rd and 30.
How
Thank
about
you.
Howie gets the intestinal fortitude to fire him? I like that one better.
Vic Fangio is in the building. And even though Sean Payton has made concessions that he would like Vic Fangio in his next coaching endeavor, I feel like we have the power right now to get rid of like everybody keeps talking about, well, we ranked this and that. I was like, all that means nothing because every time we go up against a quality quarterback and it's a close game, we do things like 3rd and 30. Nobody, it's like, I watched yesterday throughout the College Bowl season. I watched every time it was 3rd and more than 10, the team blitz the quarterback, get it out the hand, make the tackle, get off the field.
Not soft zone coverage,
not soft
rushing
zone.
four guys,
not
blitzing anybody. That's not what they do.
And not only that, not having the situational awareness to realize that I have a young safety currently that plays safety and corner in Josiah Scott. He just moved to safety from playing corner. Do you think that he's going to have enough depth because he hasn't practiced any yet to be back there on 3rd and 30, or should I get the ball out of his quarterback's hand and don't give him time to carve us up like a knife? No, I'm going to let him stand back there and pat the ball a couple of times.
Give him time in the pocket.
Yeah, and then throw the ball to the one guy who hasn't had a reception all game, T.Y. Hilton, who hasn't really been in football. He gets one reception. And it's a 30-plus yard.
On a 3rd and 30.
3rd and 30.
That was the nail in the coffin.
Yes,
that
it was.
Was the complete and utter demise of the Eagles in that game.
Yes, and it was.
We're going to get into
that was the turning point too.
It was.
Because
that sucked the wind right out of Philadelphia's sails, and they were done at that point.
Yeah.
They could have just walked off the field and left it at that.
Yeah.
We are up against our next break.
Yes,
On the other side, I want to get into the numbers.
Okay.
Because you were just talking about this, and it is as deceiving as could possibly be. I mean, when you hear what the Eagles are ranked, you're going to be shocked. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be shocked.
I'm not going to be shocked.
But the listeners are going to be shocked.
Yeah, and then when I'll also let you know why the numbers are like that. When
100%.
Yeah, so.
Hollis has a reality check for you.
A reality check for that, yes.
On why the numbers are that way. On Reality Check, the ultimate sports preview, here live at the Mud Hen in Wildwood on Rio Grande Avenue. We are here up until kickoff, people.
And after kickoff, I'll be here still.
Absolutely. We're going to hang out and watch the Eagles game. Hollis is going to take pictures. He's going to sign autographs, shake hands, and kiss babies. Come out and see us. Have a good time. The drinks are cold. Who's behind the bar? Drew and Will.
Yeah, Drew and Will is still behind the bar.
Drew and Will behind the bar. Come and say hi to them. They're taking good care of you.
Yes.
We will be back after the break with some defensive rankings on the Eagles side. I'm Pete Visalli, Hollis Thomas to my left. Stay right here. yes, Lauren's father. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Great.
All right, Norm, you got me now?
Right, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm muting it from this end,
All
so
right.
just when
Yes,
you don't
hang
hear us,
out.
just
We'll talk
stay on the
after
line,
show.
okay?
What about Hero Boy?
Right now, I got the headset and Pete has the headset, so. All right, so you should be able to hear both of.
What do we got?
I was getting one of the. I was gonna get one of their beer when they asked me when they brew here. And
Yeah.
what's y'all in there?
Actually, I got to work.
All right, you want to go to the show? You want to start the show back up?
Go to AC. Maybe I'll have one
Pete, Norm?
after the show.
All right,
Yeah, go for it. Drink it during.
just bring it back in as soon as you can. I'm going to tell Pete to stand by right now, okay? All right, thank you.
No worries. I should have paid attention to my phone. My girl, she just was like,
Jalen walking in with the Will Smith Bel Air Academy jersey
"Oh, that's
on.
sweet right there." Yeah. We go. I think we're going.
We're going?
I think we're going.
All right, we are back live at the Mud Hen Brewery in Wildwood on Rio Grande Ave. This is Reality Check Radio, the ultimate sports preview. I am Pete Visalli, Hollis Thomas to my left.
Yep.
Hollis.
I'm about to get me one of the Mud Hens. They call the Hero Boy.
There we go.
It's supposed to be a holiday brew.
Okay.
I figure since we're here, might as well.
The swanky accommodations that we've set ourselves up with here at the Mud Hen Brewery.
Yes, I figure I might as well partake in the festivities here.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why not?
Somebody says it's noon somewhere. Well, I don't care if it's noon. I'm at a brewery.
As they say, when in Rome, right?
Yeah,
when in brewery, drink beer.
Yes, a
So-
tender one too.
Yeah, and there are a wide plethora of beers on tap here that Mud Hen carries that they're brewing themselves on site.
Yeah, on site. Yes. Actually, this is like one of the. I've been to a few different breweries before who do this. This is one of the better setups. Well, actually, this is one of the best setup breweries that I've seen, and I've been.
It's gorgeous.
I'm a bit of a lush, so I've been to quite a few places. But this was then the outside area, dude.
That outside patio is spectacular, man.
And then the effervescentness of the upstairs area that we got to do the meeting in.
Yeah, man.
He told me we were going to be up there. He lied to us to get us in here.
Let's go. Let's go. We got to parlay this into a Philly show in the summertime so we can be out there on the patio.
Damn Skippy.
Damn Skippy.
And I love what the Phillies are doing. But we were going to talk about the birds. Let's not get totally off kilter.
Yeah. We can get into the Phils on the other end.
Yeah.
But now,
give me those numbers you were talking about, and I'll let you know why they are what they are.
Crazy defensive rankings
Yes.
in football right now. Philadelphia Eagles in yards per game ranked number 1 in the NFL.
Correct.
At 301.9 yards per game. Okay, now here's the interesting part. Ranked at number 2, 322.4 yards per game, New Orleans Saints.
Correct.
What's up with that?
Well, the funniest thing is the New
Our
Orleans.
defense stinks.
Well, it's the personnel. That's what I was going to tell you. It's like if you notice this defense when we lost the big guy, we lost Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis was like a
you see
game changer, man.
What did Howie go do?
He went out and got Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph.
Exactly, and he put it's like if you look at then he went out before that. He went out and got the secondary guys.
Yeah,
you got the guys up front. Then you go and get Kazir White. And then T.J. Edwards is handling. Then you get N'Kobe Dean. Then not only that, some of the safety guys that we got, Kevon Wallace is starting to come around. You look at our defense, and we have a defense. Not only that, you get who I feel is the defensive MVP, Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick is incredible.
Yeah, when you look at that, you got Sweat, we got Graham. I could go on forever, baby. You cannot mess this up.
Right.
But you know how you can mess it up? When you play bend but don't break. Now it was I can't remember the defensive coordinator's name who that this came from. This saying came from. As Jim Johnson said, bend but don't break doesn't get you nothing but losses and fired. Because because sometimes it's like when you play against good quarterbacks, you bend but don't break. You give them time to carve you up, and they will. Even put it this way: in this defense, with this defense coordinator, we played against Zach Wilson last year. Zach Wilson at halftime was 12 of 14 with 2 touchdowns. 12 of 14, and you've seen Zach Wilson play.
Right.
We don't, and then when we play against a quality quarterback, you see what happens. That game totally should have been us kicking Dallas's rump defensively.
100%.
You have the 3rd and 30 I was pissed because before this, my podcast with the guys at 4th and John.
Yes.
One of the guys, Evan, you getting some hype here, Ev, and not really hype, but Ev was saying that I should apologize to Jonathan Gannon because of where we were ranked. No. No. I was like, the guys are winning in spite of him.
No
in
way.
spite of him. And it's like it's nothing more that puts people more on notice than that particular game against the Cowboys. Because defensively, we should have shut them down. And we have the guys to do what's necessary.
We have
to
the
destroy.
tools
Yes.
and we have the talent.
Yes, we do. And that's the one thing. When you have the talent, you get the talent will outplay the crap that he's calling. Because there's no way when we were running man defense, I think he threw 1 pick. I think he was 3 of like 15 or something like that.
Right, and then we go into soft zone coverage.
Soft zone coverage,
Right.
and he was cutting us up like a knife.
I just don't understand when you see something that's working so well. Why do you run from it at light speed?
I don't know. It's like
It's insane.
It seems like when we sometimes he'll come out and he'll seem like he wants to be aggressive, but then if he gets torched like one time or something, then it's like he's back into his hole, like he goes back into the hole. It's like I don't know, but I don't know how him and the other person, Kellen Moore, is getting like head coaching talks. And that's like when you look at him like Kellen Moore, I was like, I
don't want that guy going anywhere.
I don't want him going anywhere either. But the fact that they're talking about him as head coach is hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, they had the number one. This is why I love the part about reality check. I asked somebody last year who was the best team in the NFL.
You ask me who it is, the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
They won the Super Bowl.
If you say anybody else in that, you're in what we call mamby-pamby land.
Right.
Because it's like, well, they just got hot at the right time. They put it all together. They had the same opportunities that the team that you're talking about was the best team. Oh, so who was the best team then? The team that won was the best team last year.
Right.
It's like a Cowboys fan, a delusional Cowboys fan, talking about we led the league in scoring last year. I was like, but you were at home after the first week of the playoff.
What did I do
round.
for you? Where's your
Yeah.
Super Bowl trophy
Exactly.
because you led the league in scoring?
Yeah, you led the league in scoring during the regular season, Peyton Manning.
Right. I was talking about this the other day. I'm interested to hear what you think about this because bringing that up, you had to bring it up for a reason. So when it comes down to it, and it pains me to say this, but if you got to pick between Eli and Peyton, I'm taking Eli.
Yeah, only because
I'm taking Eli.
But then you have to see. Then you have to know what I know.
Peyton's got 9 first-round playoff exits.
I know, but there's some of them against the cheating ass Patriots. It's
This
like
is
if you knew the level of
But there's a lot of them that aren't because the cheating ass Patriots cheated their way into a first round bye.
That is true. But now that you mentioned that is my reality check. I still would take Eli because when he got in there, he handled business.
Yeah.
Against all odds too, that a wild card team having to play. It's easier to play 2 than it is to play 3.
And I mean, if you're looking at the 2 Super Bowl wins that Peyton has, it was due to a devastating defense.
Yeah,
You
exactly. That's like I was laughing at the one in Denver, but
Did he
It was
throw
like-
a touchdown pass in that game?
If it was less than 10 yards, yes. But
I don't even know if he had a touchdown pass in that game.
If you watched him that season, the only reason he was there is because he had this decision making ability, and it's like when you have a quarterback that takes what you give him and knows which way the defense is setting and knows which way to run the ball, it goes a long way. But when you have a defense that can stop the run and make him throw long balls and take away the short stuff, then it's going to be a long day for him. And you're going to be looking at a quarterback in the first round as they made their Paxton Lynch and Brock Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler. I mean,
mistakes.
he almost played in that game. I bet you they would have won more decisively if Brock Osweiler played in that game.
His decision-making ability. Sometimes we look at the sexy statue or the sexy thing, and they don't have good decision-making abilities. They have all the qualities of being good, but the brain doesn't allow them to make quality decisions. So a lot of times we're rolling off potential. You have people throwing pick after pick after pick, and guys making concessions for them, talking about they need weapons. Well, if they had the weapons, they wouldn't know what to do with them. So,
I mean, you look at the way that game went. Von Miller gets the Super Bowl MVP, as he should have.
Yeah.
You know, Peyton was nowhere in the conversation.
No.
Eli's got two of them.
Well, he was.
And I mean, and one of them, he had a devastating defense as well.
Yeah.
You know, and
But see, the thing is when you like Eli, he had to in both of them, he had to do a game-winning drive. And when you look at it, when you have a quarterback like that type of energy permeates throughout the team.
7 fourth-quarter comebacks that season from Eli.
But when you have a quarterback that you know that all you have to do is keep him in the game, and he will win it for you. You know that you do a lot. You do a lot defensively. So it's like you still do a lot defensively anyway. But when you see that the offense is maybe sputtering or something, you try to keep it. You try to do the extra stuff to keep it closer, because you know your guy in the end will bring you back. And that's what they had. They had guys up front that knew that if we give Eli a chance in the end, he'll win. So
I'm trying to find the box score on this game here.
That was so long ago. Good luck with that.
It was 2016, and
you have to go to the library.
Game,
Got to go to the library and go to the Dewey Decimal System.
Peyton Manning, 13 for 23, 141 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah, he sucked.
Sucked.
He blew chunks. I mean,
reality check.
But he had the ability. If you watch that game, he had the ability to still do all the antics at the line and put the offense in a good position for their running back to get those quality yards, to keep their defense off the field. If you keep their defense off the field for a few plays, get a few prize choice first downs to give them a chance to rest, to get some water, and to get your thoughts, and to put a plan together. Then, unless it's because if you have a good defense and every 2 or 3 plays are like, defense get ready, it's third down, it could go real bad real quick.
And it did. It went real bad real quick, and the Broncos fed the Carolina Panthers their lunch.
Yes, they did. They were killing Cam Newton like nobody's business. They just took his lunch, and
Yes,
they
did.
were 15-2 that year. 15-1, and then they lost the Super Bowl. That was brutal.
No touchdowns for him in that game
Nah.
also. Now, I am getting word here that Eagles are reporting that Jalen Hurts will be out for the game today.
See, I said 85%.
That 15%, there it is. It crept up into play. Unfortunately, we're not going to have him today. Now, my thoughts on that were, get him in there, man. Like, let's put a bow on this. Get him in there, because now, if the Eagles win today, which they should, he's most likely going to be on the shelf for 5 weeks before he plays. We're not going to put him in next week against the Giants if they've got first-round bye locked up.
Well, the one thing that I was saying was, only way that I feel like he was going to play today if he was completely 100%. If he still was hurting and stuff, I didn't want him to play. The other part was I feel like Gardner Minshew, he deserves another game under his belt, because I don't want Gardner to be trying to get his wings under him during the playoffs if we have to go with him. But I want him to get some quality work, and he's also showcasing. You have to look at it too. He's showcasing himself because he's an unrestricted free agent next year. So you're going to get the best of him. Last week was his first action all season long.
And he wants to start.
Yeah.
He wants to start his job back. He said that to Nick Sirianni.
Yeah.
You know, what do I have to do to start? I mean, good luck.
Yeah.
And he knows that when he's saying it. But I like that.
But
that's what he's supposed to say. That's what he's supposed to want. He's not supposed to just say, well, this guy Jalen Hurts is pretty good. I guess I'm content with my situation here. The man's a gamer. He wants the ball.
Yeah, and he wants the ball. And he should want the ball because you should want somebody that wants the ball. But he does also. I like the fact that he knows his role. And but the only thing that he's doing for himself now is either he's going to get a starting job, or he's going to drive his stock up as a backup. Because if put it this way, Chase Daniel, and between Chase Daniel and what's the other guy, the guy who we had here, I can't think of his name.
Sam Bradford.
Not Samantha, not Sammy Sleeves. Chase Daniel was
Jared
another backup.
Stidham?
No, it was another backup that we had. Say it again.
Nate Sudfeld.
Well, Nate Sudfeld got cut because of Purdy in San Francisco.
Right.
It was the guy. But between Chase Daniel and another backup that was I think he's in Kansas City. Literally done. We got him from Kansas City. Literally done nothing but just be a
Chase
backup.
Daniel is from Kansas City.
Chase Daniel because Chase Daniel is currently in
not Nick
in
Foles.
Chargers. Not Nick Foles.
No.
It's another guy that's pretty much a career backup, and that made a lot of money being a backup because they know that's their role.
Oh, Josh McCown. Talking about Josh McCown?
Yeah, Josh McCown as well.
There we go.
There you go. But when you look at it, it's driving up his stock, so he could have a decent asking price to be a backup. So, but he's also putting people on notice, letting them know that he can start.
Okay. So going into this game, we now know that Gardner Minshew is starting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's playing against Andy Dalton. Come on.
New Orleans Saints, ranked number 2 in the NFL defensively in yards per game. Mm-hmm. Ranked number 2 in the NFL defensively against the pass.
I know. And
in yards per game.
And 23rd versus the run, right?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
23rd. They allow 132 yards on the ground per game.
132.5, which is about 133. But
which is about 133.
Yeah. So
if we're rounding up.
Well, here's the part where I'm going to give you my pigeons of this game. So I'm going to give you my offensive pigeons this game. The offensive pigeons are sprinkled amongst the offensive line, really. The center McCoy, and then James Hurst is the left tackle. They lost the other stud at tackles. I think he went to the Dolphins.
Yes.
Yes. So, and then Calvin, his last name is Throckmorton.
Throckmorton.
Yeah, Throckmorton. It's Throckmorton because it's spelled R-O-C.
Yeah, I want to run it at Calvin Throckmorton.
No,
that sounds like
he's the
guy that I'm trying to attack.
Those are my offense. Those are all on the offensive line. He's moved. Throckmorton has moved from left tackle to guard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
left guard or right guard?
Which one is right guard? Right guard.
So he went from left tackle to the other side of the line now.
Yeah.
Footwork is completely different.
Yeah, footwork and hand placement.
Hand placement is completely different.
Now, on that defensive part that we were speaking of, the two defensive tackles, number 99 Tuttle and 93, I don't want to butcher his name, they are always sack happy. They want. That's why they're 23rd versus run. They're looking for sacks. A lot of times they're trying to get upfield and trying to get sacks. And it seems like when I like our guys on the interior making sport of them and getting the running game going.
Right.
So those two guys are the pigeons defensively, and the whoever's opposite of Marshawn Lattimore.
Yes. Yeah.
And the other DB, because normally they make sport of him all the time. So.
That being said, I am anticipating Devontae Smith to have a big game today. So fantasy users, fantasy players, definitely look into starting Devontae Smith today. He
Big time.
should have a good game. That's most definitely going to be somebody that I am anticipating on the Eagles' end. But 23rd against the rush, man. Miles Sanders needs to go off today.
Yes, he does.
He needs to go off today, not just because
Yeah.
we need to win. This guy's playing for his job right now, is he not?
You know what? I think so as well because he just because of the last two games. The one game you could equate it to being cold outside in Chicago, and the last game he fumbled at a key point in the
Does
time.
it not get cold in Philadelphia?
Not Chicago. Apparently, you've never been to Chicago.
I've been to Chicago,
No,
but
no,
I
have you
haven't been there in
the
like
winter?
the winter months.
Exactly. So I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
but you've never seen anything until you've seen United States north, the middle of the earth, north. It's like up to Wisconsin.
Northern, I will defer to the Northern Illinois alumnus on this one.
It's because it's right there. Northern Illinois is like 40 miles outside of Chicago.
Right.
Brutally cold. Brutal. It's only two seasons there.
Right.
Summer and winter.
And winter.
And winter doesn't end until like late May.
I've been to Chicago. I've been to Chicago 3 times.
Yeah.
Twice for the draft, and once for when the Eagles played the Bears in September. And both times, I guess I got their version of fall, or spring, which was drastically colder than what I was experiencing here at the time. But it was still, it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, this time,
when I went in September when the Eagles played the Bears, I definitely went and put my feet into Lake Michigan. Like the water wasn't that cold at the time.
Well, no, it's not. It doesn't. When you get to December, okay, this is a case in point. What it was like? What was it like? It may have been like 10 degrees out there or something like that. Now you've seen 10 degrees here. Just put the lake effect onto that.
Right.
With
that cold wind coming off of the lake.
When one of your monikers is they shot the winds. The wind is when Chi-Town wind. It's it's not nice. It's and you put all that together. But I'm not going to make concessions for him. I still think he should have did better. But you can see the difference in that game. You saw him starting to run east and west again. That was the thing that the coaches, the previous coaches, was getting on him about running east and west and not hitting the ball up in there. You saw that the one year when they were trying to make him hit the ball up in there, and he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. And then last game, it seemed like he was running with a little bit of a purpose, but then it did seem like he was all the way into it. So the run game didn't work like it was supposed to.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, this is a big game for him.
Yeah.
He
and
needs
not only that, there's a couple of guys that's going to be unrestricted free agents next year, and he's like in that same, like everybody's talking about Josh Jacobs from the Raiders, who the Raiders didn't offer that they didn't tender his 5th year.
Shady McCoy loves Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, if he was in Howie's position, Miles Sanders would already be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he wants Josh Jacobs in green next year. Now,
I would
like to see it, but at the same time,
I think a lot of us want that, but at the same time, like you're saying, it's like we've taught and we've groomed Miles Sanders, and it's like we drafted him, we've groomed him, but it seems like the last few games, it seems like he's reverting back to what we've grown to not so much despise the east and west running. He's like he does it right for a little bit, and then he just goes back to the old ways.
Just get moving north and south, man. Get moving
Yeah,
north
because
and south.
I don't know you. I told you in the Chicago game when the hole opened up and you could have hit your head on the goalpost, and he kept going sideways. I was like, and they were yelling at him about it when on the sideline.
It would be nice to have a flashy running back, somebody that's expensive in the high dollar name, but Eagles have gotten real good over the past 20-some years at finding the guy in the 3rd and 4th round. Miles Sanders wasn't a high pick. Brian Westbrook wasn't a high pick. Shady McCoy wasn't a high pick. The Eagles are finding these running backs late. I'm okay if Miles leaves. I'm sad to see him go. I like Miles Sanders, But at the same time, I've got confidence in Nick Sirianni's offense that they can plug and play, as well as I've got confidence in Howie to draft the right running back later. I don't have much confidence in Howie with his first round pick. You know, that goes without saying.
Big pudding.
But you know, he did do a good job this past year
Yes,
and the
he
year
did.
before. But that was
The
coming off of like
Andre Dillard.
a lot of blunders.
It's kind of funny that he's a
Andre Dillard, Anthony Smith, Jalen Rager.
He's a punchline right now at Andre Dillard because we have a serious injury on our offensive line, and you don't really see his name being mentioned.
No,
as the guy in the back.
stinks.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've seen him practice and I've seen him play. There's a reason why when we get off his tackle, heard you got Drake Driscoll coming out there, or you got they'll do anything to keep him off the field. They will move somebody at offensive tackle and kick him down to guard.
Oh my!
And we
goodness.
moved up to get that trash.
Yeah, and that was our first round pick.
Well,
Was it? No, it wasn't our first because we traded the first round pick
no,
away.
it was our first round pick.
Was it?
Yeah, we moved. And
I thought Andre Dillard was the Lamar Jackson year.
No, we moved up to get that. Dallas Goedert was the Lamar Jackson.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, on that note, it is time for another commercial break.
Oh, dear Lord.
We're going to pay some bills. We will be back on the other end with some more Birds talk. We get into a little bit of Phils before our last hour on the show.
Yes.
You know, and we'll go firmly into the Birds. But on the other end of the break, I got to talk some Phils, man.
Okay.
I am fired up
I wonder
about
why.
these
Is it because we're spending a little dough?
Do-re-mi, baby. I bet some do-re-mi on them to win the World Series already.
Oh, nice.
On the other end of the break, we're talking Phils. We're talking Eagles. I'm Pete Visalli. Hollis Thomas is to my left.
Go Birds.
This is Reality Check, the ultimate sports preview, the only place where you will get it straight.
Yes.
All right. On the other end, we are live at the Mud Hen in Wildwood on Rio Grande Avenue. Beautiful place, cold drinks. Come by, say hi. We'll see you after these breaks.
Hero boy.
All right, we are back here at the Mud Hen in Wildwood on Rio Grande Ave. Beautiful place.
Yes.
Swanky accommodations.
Delicious.
Delicious. How's that brew, bud?
The Hero Boy is tender and delicious.
Which one is that?
The Hero Boy.
Hero Boy.
It's a seasonal. It's the holiday one. She said.
All right.
It's a holiday Belgium strong.
Filled with holiday cheer.
Yes.
Let's
so
go.
To speak. It's
Lot,
got a little-
lot of great choices to choose from.
with a whisper of cinnamon.
With a whisper of cinnamon.
Mm.
All right. That sounds fancy.
Damn, that's
You got to
sweet.
put your pinky up when you sip on that.
Just a little bit, hell
Yeah, buddy. Damn, Skippy.
yeah, damn Skippy. And it's smooth on the way down, too. Tell you
All
what.
right. Speaking of damn Skippy, if you
Mm-hmm.
like Hollis's T-shirt, go to phillysportshirts.com to
Yes.
get yourself your own damn Skippy shirt. Bring it on over. Hollis will sign it for you. You can get some pictures.
Yes.
Right?
There's I also just released.
Hollis is a man of the people.
Yes, I am. I also
Yeah.
released a hoodie too, because it's a bit of hoodie season right now.
It is hoodie season, so you can get
Yeah.
yourself a damn Skippy hoodie.
Yes, because it's cold. It's
Right.
a little cold outside.
It is a little cold. You
brisk.
might not be as well insulated as Hollis is.
Yes, exactly.
So-
I only wear a jacket in this type of weather because, as you can see, I still have my fat guy sweaty towels because I'm leaking like Frosty here.
That's it, buddy. It's okay. We forgive you.
Thank you.
You wash the rag.
Yes.
Unlike my socks.
Unlike yourself, this is not a lucky rag.
Right. It's not a lucky rag.
No.
Okay. So, yes, go to phillysportshirts.com to
Yes.
get yourself your own damn Skippy shirt or hoodie,
Yes.
depending on what your preference is.
Bring it,
and
and
Hollis will
outside
put his John Hancock on it for you.
You gotta put my signature on. No.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to be Dr.
He's a man of the people. I'm not going to call you the people's champ because
Okay.
that was somebody else
That's Paul Wall.
that
Paul,
was overrated.
No, that's actually Paul Wallaby.
Okay.
You know
Paul
Paul?
Wald.
Yeah.
Paul Wald.
Yeah, he said a little bit before Fred X.
But Fred X.
I did enjoy the way that he would do they call it the discount double check.
The
title.
discount double check. That was
Yeah.
that was him first. That was his way of saying I'm the people's champ.
Yeah.
Now it's become the discount double check. But for the non-Eagles fan that was unaware,
Yeah.
you know, the Monday night scramble where Donovan had the ball in his hands for about 14 and a half seconds and then hurled it downfield to our good friend Fred X.
He got caught on that though, didn't he?
What's that?
Fred X got caught on that.
He
didn't
did get caught. He
He's
did
slow
get
as
caught. And
molasses.
he didn't have, Donovan did not underthrow that ball. He didn't have to slow down in his route to catch it.
Hey, wait a
You
minute.
It was a
said-
thing, you know?
He said that I was cracking up because somebody was like, somebody was making sport of Freddie and said he should only come out on April the 26th. I'm just saying it was hilarious to me because I think sometimes we feel ourselves and we get to not being as humble as we should be, and then somebody has to knock you down a peg. And I think that it was just I laughed out loud. I think it was more so than laugh out loud, the complete blurt laugh out loud than anything. But
Do you stay in touch with Fred?
yeah, Fred X is my guy. I love Fred.
Yeah.
He's a nice, genuine person, but he has some lofty expectations of himself sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
As wide receivers tend to have those lofty
Hey,
expectations
you're in your
of themselves.
You're in your T.O. episode there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we drafted Fred X quite high.
Yeah, we
And,
skipped over
and
Steve
left
Smith.
Reggie Wayne, Steve Smith,
There you go.
and Chad Ochocinco on the table.
You can leave out Ocho Cinco.
No?
Let's say Steve Smith and the other guys. Ocho Cinco is extra. And apparently he used to take Viagra before the game. He mentioned.
Really?
I don't know. Well, see, when he said, it was a report, somebody else sent me that. And
Get the blood flowing, I guess.
I don't know why you would want to.
Right. Why would you want blood in that area
Yeah,
during the
when
game?
you're on the field with
A bunch of other men.
Yeah, but it was one other person. He's currently in prison who I knew did that. A safety, who wore number 42 for Green Bay, and he came in Minnesota. He came to play with us in New Orleans.
Right.
Darren Sharper.
He's in prison?
Apparently, you don't keep up with things.
Apparently not.
the Mickey slipping guy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's
And
right.
maybe
That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot about
He
that.
brought up Reggie Bush's name, and
Yeah.
See, there's kids.
How
in
could
the,
I forget?
I don't know, but there's kids in the place right now, so I
didn't know who you were trying to say. I'm like, Darren Sharper.
I didn't want to go out into the long, drawn-out dissertation of him slipping Mickeys to young ladies before they went out.
Slipping Mickeys.
Well, they would have a shot to celebrate going out, and then they would wake up with him doing something unfortunate to them.
Apparently, he did not have lofty expectations of himself. He needed something extra to get his head into the game.
Well, no, but the part
both heads.
the part that I was mentioning though was they just somebody, I guess. He was doing Chad Ochocinco was doing a tell-all, and he was saying that was part of his game regimen. So he was saying he was talking about he would be walking around with 3 legs out there, and I was like, pause. Pause. So it was
all right.
So it's one of those things, though, you know.
Well, lofty expectations of himself, indeed.
Exactly.
Indeed.
So,
wow. Well, we
but
did want to talk some Phils.
Yeah, we wanted to talk some Phils a little
right?
bit. Yeah, we could talk to Phils now, and then on the way out, we could put a bow on it with the Birds talk.
We're gonna hammer those birds. We're gonna get into Birds' expectations and all of that. But
I'm gonna defer some of this. Sorry, I just looked up on TV. They had Dak Prescott up there. I kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Did you get a little distracted there?
I threw up in my mouth a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. But talk about the money we spent this off season. About the things that we've done so far.
Going in these Philadelphia Phillies, baby. Our fighting Phils are just going all the way in, man. Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Craig Kimbrell. I mean, just going on and on. Taquan Walker.
Yes.
I mean, one after the other after the other. Now, Matt Strom.
Yeah. You know what? I should have gave before I tossed it to you. I should have asked you about the one guy we lost. A little bit of a fan, but Gene Segura. It's like because I asked my buddy who's he's a diehard Phillies fan. My buddy Andrew Hurst. So he was saying he just said he went and took the money. I was like, but we went and paid a quality shortstop. He's not going to get he wasn't going to get on the field, but I think, and then we got the other young kid at second base. I don't think it was a place for him anymore.
No, there definitely wasn't. Unfortunately, because I like Gene Segura too.
Yeah,
Gene the Hit Machine.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say because I see he was a bit of a late, not in the terms I know, a bit of a ladies man. I always see the ladies always talk about Gene and stuff, and then but then he was a quality hit maker and he was a good fielder.
Unfortunately, Gene did go a little quiet in the playoffs, and
that was another thing too. That's
curtail off of what we were talking with Peyton Manning. I think that made the decision a little bit easier.
Right.
You know. I mean, if he would have been lighting the world on fire, they might not have been so eager to spend $300+ million on a shortstop.
Yeah, that's what
Trey Turner.
And which brings us to another part of reality check, where if you're doing your job, you're not worried about them bringing in somebody at your position. But when they bring in a $300 million guy, odds are you're probably about to change positions. So, so the other part of that too was, how about we fired the one coach who we thought was going to take us to the promised land during the season, and who the fuck that we would end up in the World Series? Did they even
the coach that we thought was going to take us to the promised land took us to the basement.
Yeah.
And then we fired him and end up with the second best record in baseball from the day that he gets fired on.
You know what the funniest thing was? How about all those teams that won those 100+ games that were not they got ousted in the playoffs? Did we beat a couple?
New York Mets.
So it's like when you look at it, the funniest thing is that I did hear some rumblings about the way Joe Girardi was handling things, and the one thing that I took away from the rumblings was I think he's too much wanted to still be a player and think that people were supposed to do things like he does them instead of being a manager and just managing guys. It's because if you can, and I think that's, remember you said this earlier in the show, at the beginning of the show, about when you see a Hall of Famer, a person who's a Hall of Famer that can't coach. I say that's because sometimes when you're a Hall of Famer, you don't understand why not. You don't understand how people don't get things. And that's what I was early childhood development education, so in the latter years of my career, everybody was calling me Big Coach because when the coaches were yelling at them, when most of the time Tommy Brady was yelling at one of the defensive ends, most of the time aren't that bright. They're not the sharpest tool in the shed. So
Right.
when the coach is yelling football jargon at them, sometimes they would look at me and I would explain it in basic layman and what we call layman's terms. It's like because sometimes people learn differently, and so you have to break things down to a simpler form, or just the way they would understand it. Because sometimes coaches and teachers do the same thing. They expect every kid to get it. It's like every kid is not going to get it the same way. Just like with
100%.
people in general, it's like people may process things differently and slower. So it's like you don't look down if you're an intelligent individual, you get things regardless. You shouldn't look down on people who don't get it as fast as you do, except if they get it a couple of minutes after. If I tell a joke and you laugh like 3 minutes later, we're not friends anymore. I'm just saying. You kind of hurt my ego because you didn't laugh at the joke. I'm just saying. This is the way things go.
Yeah. I mean, also Girardi, big analytics guy.
Yeah.
You know,
that's one
goes
thing.
strictly by what the analytics say.
Listen, and you see a lot of, like the coach for the Chargers. Last year they could have been in the playoffs. You call a timeout and let the Raiders kick a field goal. Are you kidding me? And you're ousted in the playoffs. I don't think you could get any stupider. I don't know what the analytics told you in that situation, but it shouldn't have been to call a timeout. It's like the analytics, you should only use them to a certain degree.
Unbelievable.
At some point, yeah, but at some point you have to be a coach. Like we talk about games. There's an ebb and flow in games, and the way your team reacts to those ebb and flows lets me know if you're going to win the game or not. And sometimes when you make a bad decision as a coach in those ebb and flows because of the analytics, it's like, okay, so sometimes you'll see a team that they won't take the points, and then like later on in the game they're losing by exactly that many points. Or so somebody goes for 2 unnecessarily, and they get a 1-point loss.
Hey,
analyze that.
Analyze that,
Yeah,
baby.
like, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
You said it, brother.
It's like when you it's like and I get this. My brothers I know my brothers are listening. They play Madden all the time, and one of my brothers gets his ass handed to him on a regular basis, and it's and I don't think it's because it is a little bit because of skill set, but because he goes for it could be 4th and forever in his own territory, and he's still going to go for it, and it's like you're just giving him a 1-play drive. It's like what are you doing? Yeah, at least fight me. If it's gonna be a game, put up a fight.
Hey, man.
Give your team a chance. It's like you're a coach. Give your team an actual chance.
Well, this has gone as billed the fastest 3 hours in sports. We're down to our last 40 minutes.
Yes.
We've been here for 2 hours and 20 minutes already.
Well, it started to go a little bit faster once the people started coming.
Yes.
And then people are eating and stuff and
Absolutely.
having a quality meal. I'm going to give me a menu.
Listen, the Mud Hen is packed right now, but there's still plenty of seating. Anybody that wants to come down, say hello. Hollis Thomas is here, the former Eagle. I'm Pete Visalli. We're going to go into a commercial break. On the other side, we're getting back into the Eagles. We're going to give our expectations, our predictions of what we think is going to happen today. Stay tuned. Mud Hen, Rio Grande Avenue in Wildwood. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
Dan.
All right, we are back live at the Mud Hen. The fastest 3 hours in sports, Reality Check Radio, the ultimate sports preview.
Yes.
Talking some birds, baby. Let's get into it.
I was just talking to a baby. I'm his first Eagles player he met.
That's it, man.
I think he's a couple
I was
months
not
old.
lying. Hollis is here to shake hands and kiss babies.
I'm gonna go kiss him. He's not my baby. I gave him a fist bump.
Gave him a fist bump and had a nice conversation.
Well, yeah, because I don't think he can high five yet.
Okay.
I think they're working on that.
Looks like a cool little guy.
Yes, he was. He's already with the Eagles onesie on. I love that.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Start them young. That's called proper parenting right there.
Yes. I love it when I see the kids who already can say Cowboys suck.
That's it. Yeah. That's real proper parenting right there. Now we're setting them on a path for success.
Yes, true success and not being ridiculed by the other kids at school.
Yeah, buddy.
So I see you got your notes as well. What do you got for this game coming up here?
We've got some injuries today that are a little bit of a concern.
Yes. What's the ones that are a little bit of concern?
So obviously Jalen, we talked about him not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Lane Johnson is going to be out for the foreseeable future.
Correct.
And C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who was supposed to play this game.
I think you know what I think with that one. I think a lot of us got our hopes up, and probably some people reported what I like to call clickbait.
Oh yeah, one of your former colleagues.
Yes,
one of your former teammates and colleagues was going in on that.
Yeah,
a very prominent special teamer.
On clickbait
was going very hard on the clickbait that there was going to be no way that C.J. Gardner-Johnson was going to have a problem playing in this game and giving it to his former team.
Exactly, and I think people read a lot into that because he was making some progress, and I think they opened a practice portal or something like that for him to come back. But I don't think it's with dealing with an organ laceration. I don't think you take your time and complete time because when he comes back, you don't want to have to shut him down again.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people deal with the clickbait. So yes, but continue.
I mean, it was pretty crazy because I had my hopes. I mean, the guy's leading the league in interceptions, and he's missed 5 games. Mm-hmm. Okay? So we're at a point now where they did bring in Anthony Harris in replacement, but that's
not a replacement,
it's not the same. Stop the bleeding, put a Band-Aid on it, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So that's concerning.
Well, it's really not concerning because we were able to get a guy who was playing at a decent level, but due to Reed Blankenship's development and the other guys behind him, we were able to let him go and not have him count against the cap as much as he did. But nobody else picked him up because it was a mutual release. I know. Because he wanted to see what else he could get out there. But he stayed in shape as this guy who knows the system already. That's the difference between bringing him back. I think we've been gratuitous in that situation of bringing guys who knew the system back. Like, because you go and get him, just think. But okay, so think of it like this. So you find out that Chauncey, CJ, is not going to play. So it's like, damn, who am I going to get? You had the Reed Blankenship. The Reed Blankenship thing happened because, he was kind of nicked up a little bit.
Yes.
And then so you had Kevon Wallace playing, who's played good in spurts, but I'm still not sold on him until I see a more consistent play.
He's a guy that you can plug in situations that will be serviceable.
Yes, and so you go back to a guy who was serviceable when he was here.
Right.
He was he wasn't a liability. So you go back to a guy who was serviceable when he was here, who's still been staying in shape, but you put him on a practice squad for a little bit, and now we're going to need him because we lost a few people last week in the injury.
So CJ doesn't worry you?
No, that doesn't worry me. It doesn't worry me because we've and Howie's been a magician, not even a magician. Howie's been diligent in making sure and getting the right people in place so that we don't have to make concessions like other teams. When other teams get injuries, it's just like oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And they're trying to fill the hole. We've got quality depth, but also we have quality relationships with players who were in our training camp and know our system.
Now, what about Lane?
Lane?
Lane concerns me. I mean,
Lane
we're talking about a guy that hasn't allowed a sack in over 2 seasons.
Correct.
Which is not somebody you're going to be able to just find on the street.
But you got the thing that I love about Jeff Stoutland is the way that he prepares guys. It's like he prepares guys like it shouldn't be a drop-off, which in watching it as a fan, you can see the drop-off, but they're out there playing, and they're trying to play not like the guy in front of them, but they're trying to play as good as he is, as good as he plays. I don't really have if they were playing Andre Dillard, I'd have a problem.
Right.
But it's
okay.
like, but also you also.
So as long as it's not Andre Dillard.
Exactly.
Okay.
So and also you look at Jake Stahl and the other young tight end that we got. They're going to be the Brent Sellecks of this group.
Okay.
You remember when Brent Selleck, we had to put Vita out there?
Sure.
We had to make some concessions. You have to play around. Then the Gardner is not as fleet as foot as Jalen Hurts. So, and that was another reason I think that they didn't play Jalen because he's not 100%. And if Lane's not playing, why would I take that risk? And he's like, I have a quality backup that can win. I was like, defense is pissed. Another thing, defense is pissed off, and so because of last week's output, because they know that they're better than that. And so with CJ hasn't been playing in a few weeks. In how many weeks? 5? How many games did CJ missed?
I believe he's missed 5.
Yes. So it's not like he was there anyway. You would have wanted him to come back, and I know for him, you would have wanted him to come back against the Saints. But the Saints haven't just been like, it's not like we're gonna ruin their season. We need to beat them because we want a better draft position.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of implications with this game.
Yeah.
It's not just the point that we want to wrap this division up,
right.
Wrap this number 1 seed up and first round bye, but we're securing ourselves a better draft spot by beating the Saints. This is must win.
Sorry, I was taking another sip of the Hero Boy.
Go for it, buddy. that Mud Hen special Hero Boy.
Yes, it's
going
quality.
down oh so smooth.
Damn skippy.
With those notes of cinnamon on it.
with a whisper of cinnamon.
Whisper of cinnamon. A whisper
yes.
of cinnamon.
Tender and delicious.
I love it.
And it cools you off on a hot summer's day. I'm almost guarantee it.
I would imagine so.
But back to the Birds. Some of the guys on the. If we were not able to do what we've been able to do this year so far, as far as like filling guys for injured guys, and able to go out and get a Linval Joseph, and then Ndamukong Suh, who initially said he wanted to play with the Eagles early on, because I was cracking up because somebody's like, we went and got some guys off the streets. Like, no. In this time in your waning years, you do not want to go through training camp or some losing ass team. You could go to a team that's getting their butts kicked,
right, and
go through all that rigmarole and then not have an opportunity to win. When you get a little long in the tooth, it's about winning. You've got an opportunity to got an opportunity to get paid to take care of you in your latter years. Now you actually want to win.
Yeah.
You actually want something to show for it.
And Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh have made their money at this point.
And also
they're not working for free.
Yeah, no, they're not working for free, but it's like they could have went somewhere else.
Sure.
Went somewhere else to a team that was losing. They probably got a lot more money. It's like, but you come here. They've won before, and they seem to like winning. Like Ndamukong Suh, he lost for the first part of his career. You think he wants to go back to that? Linval Joseph,
I wouldn't imagine so. And Ndamukong Suh got his Super Bowl ring. He's got his taste of it.
But he played the Super Bowl twice and won once.
Yeah.
So you see what they said, that they feel like this is a team on an uprise, and that they wanted to help them in the playoffs. So and then you see how we got back Anthony Harris. He didn't want to say. They were early on in the process of training camp. He asked to be released because he saw that the other guys he was probably going to get cut on the last cut.
Right.
And so he wanted the opportunity to go somewhere else, but he saw that the market wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Yes.
So, well, what he thought it was going to be.
Let's get there,
yes,
baby.
Let's get there.
Let's get there. Howie, you got to give the guy credit.
Yes.
He's not sitting around on his laurels right now,
no, he's
man.
Not.
This team is never finished, and if something goes wrong, he's going out and pounding the pavement to figure out a fix for it. This is a little different than the next man up mentality that we
Yeah.
had in 2017. But I love to see it.
There was some moves in 2017 that
Sure
we made
were.
as well, but it was some quality moves. It's
Jai coming in late. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the funniest thing was, it's like, and when people always talk about depth, I was able to talk to Marv Levy one time, and he said he said depth is great until you have to use it. And so I've always loved him for saying that, though.
That is a good one.
Yeah, so it's like, but when you look at this game, it's like the Saints don't scare me, but in the same right, I know we're not going to be able to just roll our helmets out there and let the birds fly around. We're gonna have to make them quit.
Well, you know what? If we get the run game going, that's exactly what should happen.
Yeah.
Keep Andy Dalton off the field. And that's not like
Wait,
it's a
hold on.
profound statement. Like
Hold on.
he's,
Hold
you
on,
know,
hold on.
listen, the red water pistol
Hold on.
is not someone that scares me by
Hold
any
on.
stretch of the imagination.
First of all, I worked before he got to the NFL. I used to work out with him in Houston because I lived in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived in Houston most of my career
Okay.
with the Birds because I didn't want to. You know, Texas is a no state tax. I didn't want to live in Dallas at all because, who wants to live in Dallas?
Nobody wants to live in Dallas.
So he was working at the same facility. Like a lot of us worked out, like myself, Charles Woodson, Sean Rod, a bunch of guys.
Okay.
So he was there. And I was like, he seemed like a decent quarterback coming out of TCU. But then he said he got into the NFL and he kind of paid Manning it up. He was great during the season and would always get ousted in the first round. Then it's not like we've not seen the Red Rocket before. We've seen him. He just left the Cowgirls. So don't act like, keeping him off the field.
Right.
He stinks.
He does stink.
And he will throw you the ball.
He does stink. But let's keep our offense on the field.
Yes.
If we're scoring, they can't. Mm-hmm. You know? I mean, let's run the score up on these guys. Let's go out and show everyone that just because Jalen Hurts isn't playing, this is still the most complete team in football.
Yeah, I think the thing with this week is looking for a better output from the defense.
Yeah.
And mainly because I think we gave up 40. We gave up 40 last week.
Gave up 40 last week, and you said the defense is going to be pissed off. Is Jonathan Gannon going to be pissed off?
Probably not. He's probably going to say, Jonathan, I got to put these guys in a better position. That's from one of his press conferences.
He's like a weatherman.
No, but he's so.
How often is he going to be wrong
So
and still get to keep his job?
Probably a lot, though. But the funniest thing, though, is watching him in a press conference saying I was talking to myself the other day. I said, Jonathan, I was like, does he realize that we can all see him still? It was like, Jonathan, but when you look at it, he's never going to change his colors. I mean, myself and one of your buddies too, Seth Joyner, we text during the game when we see him doing idiotic things defensively. It's like when it's 37 plus, you heat the quarterback up and make him make a quick decision to get the ball out of his hands so that you can make the tackle and get off the field. If you let him stand back there and play around, he's going to torch you.
And our good buddy Seth is getting crushed for crushing him, which is nonsense.
Yeah, but see, when they crush you, people try to crush me about Jonathan Gannon, but then I let them know that we have the personnel to be a couple of steps above a dominant shutout defense. Like we have the talent, defensively, we have the athletic ability and the talent to be a shut down defense.
100%.
We have opportunistic corners. And you have decent young safeties that that can hit and they can hit properly. And it's like you have a front. You see the waves of defensive linemen that we send, and then the way that we solidify the linebacking core. The way that we solidify the linebacking core with T.J. Edwards coming on because we drafted Nakobe Dean and added Kazir White.
And when's the last time we had linebackers like this? Probably not since Seth.
Well, see, you got to remember, I played with the Axeman.
You did.
I played with the Axeman.
But the Axeman didn't have a Kazir White and a Nakobe Dean.
He had a Carlos Emmons.
He did.
Carlos Simmons was a shutdown. After Carlos Simmons, we didn't have a slam linebacker. We haven't had a slam linebacker like Carlos Simmons, or also Mike Caldwell, who's the current defense coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
He played all three positions, and that's how gifted and smart he was. With Jim Johnson, he would always have the smart guys there who knew how to get in position. It's like we haven't had a smart guy or a guy who's athletically gifted since now.
Yeah.
Because they're white running with tight ends and stuff. It's like, and I know he should be. Hopefully that he's a lot better because he was coming off a bit of an ankle twist, and hopefully he's a lot better today. I was like, but then getting Nakobe Dean on the field, Nakobe Dean this is the time right now where I expect Nakobe Dean to show up because it's later in the season. And he's caught up with the speed of the game. So I'm looking for those guys. I'm looking for all the linebacker core to step up to shut down the run. And the guys up front, I already know my guys up front, they're coming to dominate.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The defensive line is like the only thing that is truly completely flawless on this team, and you can't say a bad word about them.
The one thing that we didn't ask this question, and I didn't pose this question to you.
Let's
it's
do
like
it.
Currently they're talking about Micah Parsons as the defensive player of the year. But there's a guy who's got more sacks than him and more forced fumbles than him, and he wears number 7 for your Eagles.
And he's the first player in NFL history to go 11-plus sacks in 3 straight seasons on 3 different teams.
Exactly.
Never been done before.
And he's got one more forced fumble than your buddy. He's got more sacks and more forced fumbles.
And he's got 2 other guys on the line with double-digit sacks as well. It's not like he's lined up next to dogs like Micah Parsons, and he's the one that can just feast.
Yes.
This whole line is devastating, and he's standing out on a line of guys that are just superb. There's no way that Micah Parsons is the defensive player of the year over Hassan Reddick.
And it's like Hassan's my guy. I love the way he plays and goes about things. And I love Brandon. I love Brandon Graham is my guy. He's handling business. But it's like when you look at it, and not even the word I'm hearing, but what I'm hearing from them is that they took last game. They felt like last game they felt like they let the team down as far as like giving up the 40 points. It's like it's like because you have a backup quarterback and you don't know if he's going to be able to do what Minshew did that last week. It's like as a defender, he's like, man, you feel like trash. It's like, and so from what I hear and what I've seen going on, I think we're in for a treat.
100%.
Other than his hero boy, we're in for a treat.
We should be in for a treat. But, again, this is going to be contingent on the Eagles getting the run game going. Let's get the run game going. Let's control the clock. Let's open up the pass game. And then that gives the defense a lot less pressure. That gives the defense the freedom to tee off the way that they want to.
Yeah, but here's a bit of reality. You think we get the run game from Boston Scott and Gainwell?
What was that?
You think we get the run game going from Boston Scott and Gainwell due to somebody running east and west?
Hey, I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it.
It's like,
and listen, Boston Scott he came from the Saints. He knows that team.
I know.
This is a guy that is primed to go off today.
Boston Scott, who was out of Louisiana Tech.
All right. All right.
Who they brought him there to take the place of Sproles.
Yes.
Because I don't know if you've seen Boston Scott in college. He was a little man amongst boys.
Okay.
So I loved watching college football. I love watching. I love watching all that stuff, and just to see the way he has got to where he is today. I still love it, and I think that's probably what we're gonna probably get a dose of if
I love Boston Scott. I hope we get a good dose of him. He's small and elusive. He disappears behind the line.
Exactly.
You don't know where he's going. You don't know where he's coming from. Let's get there.
I want Booby Sanders to get it going, but if he starts the east and west stuff, I don't think we can stick with that. I think we have to due to the fact that we have Gardner Minshew in there, and so when the hole is there, you have to take it. You have to take what's given to you. And
yes.
And earlier in the show, I told you about decision-making ability. Decision-making ability for the quarterbacks is take what they give you until they give you the big one.
Right.
Because if you take what they give you, they will start to make concessions to take away what they're giving you. And when they start making those concessions, that's when you strike. Because when the thing that I think Miles thinks that sometimes I think Miles still thinks that he's in college and he can hit the home run all the time. But you take the 5 and 6 yard gains because soon that you'll hit your head on the goalpost. And that's what the home and I think that's why Shady is saying what he's saying, because you take what they give you, because he had to learn that too, because Shady was a bad man in college. This is not college. This is the best of the best of the best.
Yes.
And they got running sideways. Put it this way, I went to the Academy of Math and Science, and geometry was one of my favorite classes. I know how to take an angle. If you're running sideways east and west, by the time you look to go upfield, guess who's there to knock the crap out of you? And I don't care if you're out of bounds almost. I'm coming to hit somebody.
Right.
But it's like
absolutely.
And so when you look at these things, when you look at running backs, they say that they run east and west. When they run east and west, the opposing team loves that. It's like this. What I love about our defense is that we can make running backs make erratic cuts. You have to make an erratic cut or stop your feet. That's when the rest of the
find the seam.
They call it the rest of the sharks coming. You turn it back into the rest of the sharks. That's why you have to have quality containment.
There's blood in the water, baby.
Yeah. Well, you have to turn it back to your sharks though, because there's no blood in the water if you don't turn it back to your sharks. If you let the ball get outside of you, that's what they want. They want to get outside. But if you let them run a little bit and then make that cut, they have to stop their feet and get upfield. So.
Yeah.
I was looking for him the last 2 games to have a defining moment. If he doesn't have a defining moment this game, if he doesn't have a defining moment this game, I think we're looking at possibly letting him go and then possibly signing Josh Jacobs like everybody wants. But it's like I don't think Josh Jacobs wants to break the bank. I think he wants to win now. He's been with the Raiders.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other show, though.
That is a whole nother one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do we really want, while we're talking about Josh Jacobs, do we want to send high dollar his way? Do we want to let Miles Sanders walk and pay a premium for a Josh Jacobs?
I mean, why not? Not a premium, but give him a fair salary. Because if you put it this way, if you're gonna get a workhorse in here and you're gonna use him up, it's gonna cost you a little bit. Or do you want to hope that we hit in the draft? Because college and pro is 2 different things. Now you can find a diamond in the rough sometime, but it's like drafting Donnell Pumphrey.
That's right. That's right. It is a much different game, man.
Yeah, exactly.
The Houston Texans will beat TCU and Georgia any day of the week. Any day of the week.
Yes. And
it is not the same game. It is not the same game speed.
It's basically pride. And it's like you still in college? I'm a grown man. I'm about to stump your heart out.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
That's just the way it is. So. And then it's like you playing for you've made it to where you made it to your goal, and now you just trying to you're trying to win now. But I still don't think with on Miles. I think we're kind of harping on Miles because I do want him to do well. I like him as a person and a running back, but I don't. It's like.
And he's a somewhat local guy coming out of Penn State.
But
there is the ties, but
I know, but
you got to separate that.
I know, but as much as I want him to succeed, he's got to want to succeed. He's got to see it's like, because sometimes we as players don't see it until it's too late. It's like, but every time when I was seeing a coach talk to him on the sideline and they're doing this motion, you see this motion right here? You see this motion?
Yes.
You know what that means?
Yes.
That means,
go straight.
That means get downhill. Like, make a cut. Be decisive.
Right.
It's like, because when you're decisive, it's like, I can accept that. If you don't get nothing, I can accept that. But when you run sideways and you lose yards, you're putting the whole offense in the bind.
And the thing is, Miles talks the talk too. He makes you believe.
He didn't make me believe. I heard him.
He tries to make you believe.
I heard him the first time he was talking after his first year. I'm like, yeah, get another year under your belt. Or get some consistency.
Didn't he say he was going to be the MVP 1 year or two, like 2 years ago?
I didn't believe that.
Predicted he was going to win the MVP.
Yeah, I didn't believe that then.
That's
I don't
all
believe that
well
now.
and good, but back it up or try to or something.
It's kind of like when you'll crack up at this. So I don't know. In watching the last game, DeMarcus Long. It was one. We was down on the goal line. DeMarcus Long. They stopped us on like third and goal.
Yes.
And so then DeMarcus Lawrence was standing in the face of our offensive lineman, and you could read his lips. He said an expletive like "bring it." The next play we did bring it, and right at him. And if you go back and look at that play, we threw him on the Dallas Star in the end zone.
Yes.
I'm talking about it's like he got thrown out the club. So you could talk as much as you want to. It's like, but when you talk, it talks you out of your game. Your concentration level goes everywhere. It's like you don't realize that you're on a goal. You could possibly get a goal line stance. How about keeping your pads down?
Yeah, your focus is now in the wrong place.
Your focus is now on talking trash instead of kicking ass.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that's the one concession I don't think people pay attention to.
So let's get into our expectations for this game.
Yeah.
We talked about wanting the running game to get going.
Yes.
We talked about wanting the defense to be pissed off.
Yep.
We know that Jonathan Gannon is lukewarm chowder. What do we think is going to happen? Let's hear your game time predictions here. What do you think is going to happen?
My game time predictions is this. I feel like the defense is about to put everybody on notice. I feel like the guys are going to come out and close to shut down the Saints. The Saints have some good players, and they're going to fight early on. But I think that we're going to have to stomp out their will. I feel like Gardner Minshew is going to have a better game this time because the last time was his first game, and I think he knows right now that on the RPO when he just stops and throws his hand up, that crap doesn't work. It doesn't do anything for anybody. So he's going to have to keep the ball a little bit, and put him on notice that he will run. He doesn't want to run, but he will run because when you do what he did last game and not run at all, it's like you pretty much all the run plays are for naught. The RPOs are for naught. So I feel like the offense is going to come out and kick the defense in the teeth, and we're going to make them quit, and they're going to be ready to pack it in. They should be ready to pack it in by the middle to the end of the third quarter. So
I would hope so.
And because my score of this game was like initially I said like 30, either 28 or 35 to like 10. It's like, and I'm doing a 10 because I feel like towards the end they'll get some cheap scores because they'll still be fighting. Andy Dalton's still fighting for a job, and then they're not going to quit. But the rest of the team is going to quit because because it's time. They got one more game after this, and then they're packing it in. But they will fight. It's kind of like I'm about to leave, but if you want to fight, I'll fight.
Okay.
But if you don't make me quit, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. And so it's an opportunity. The opportunity is to win, but I feel like the Eagles have a little bit of something to prove and to secure the spot, secure the number one spot, and to secure the division.
As we said earlier, implications.
And to break all the cowgirls' heart.
Yes. Yes. Implications everywhere you look. Demoralize Dallas.
Yes.
Demoralize New York. Mm-hmm. Demoralize Washington. Improve our draft status.
Who's starting Carson Wentz today?
Starting Carson Wentz. We didn't even talk about that.
We'll talk about it next
We didn't
week.
even mention the Sixers. We did. I mean, good grief. We had way too much going on today.
Yeah, but that's what you do. You make it. Dick Vermeil. I did the NFL broadcast boot camp, and I had Dick Vermeil as one of my instructors, and he came in with this giant cardboard sheet with where he had all this little writing in different colors on it, and it was one of the games that he went to, and he would write something down and something different and interesting about some of the players and stuff. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the hell is this? He's like, well, if it's a blowout, you want to keep your listeners and your viewers into the game. Not so much into the game, but you want to keep their attention. If you don't have anything to talk about and it's a 40-0 game, they're probably going to change the channel because it's going to get boring. And then he's like, I say, but what if it's not a blowout? He's like, well, at least you got the information. So when we ended up meeting up early this week and talked about all the things that we wanted to talk about. We got to some of them, but sometimes you get sidetracked on subjects and stuff, and that's the beauty of having a conversation with a good conversation.
A lot of pressing things going on today.
But it's not so much pressing because we're not going to die because we didn't talk about them. But they're quality subjects to talk about and to hash out about.
Listen, I mean, with the bowl games that went on last night, we devoted a fair chunk of the show to that.
That's mainly because I didn't know you lost money on that.
Oh, I did. I did. And thank you so much, my friend, for the reminder. Yes.
Wow,
Michigan took me to the woodshed last night on 3 separate occasions, and then so did the under.
Yeah. But you forgot to remind the people that you had an opportunity to switch things up.
And I did. I doubled down on Michigan.
You doubled down on Michigan. They showed you who they were.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I saw 21-7 and plus 600, and I was like,
They used to like you.
You know what? Michigan is going to be who they were supposed to be. I'm getting plus 600 here. Let me double down. Nope. I wasn't done. They were losing again later. I think it was 28-21.
Yep.
Oh, look, they're coming back. I can get them again at plus 330. Triple down. Nope. Wait, there's no hope for these bets. There's 86 points in the whole 4th quarter. Let me take the over a 99. Nope. 96 points.
Now.
96 points. So thank God we're working today.
Well, yeah. Well, the funniest thing is, too, is like, you're lucky there's kids in here because you sound like something out of a strip club movie. I'm just saying. It's like you want to, but you don't want to. You don't want to, but you don't want to.
That's right.
She likes me, but I don't like her. I like her, but she doesn't like me.
That's my version of the strip club. We already discussed this. I hate glitter. I won't go to strip clubs.
Yeah, that was not why you didn't like glitter, but okay.
Right.
It was a lip balm.
It was the lip balm.
It was a lip balm that you thought was a lip gloss.
Right. It's all bad news. You can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. Oh, we've got some upset fans
well,
here.
she's not upset. She didn't know you chose lip balm over lip gloss
over lip balm. Yeah, it was a mistake. We won't talk about it.
Yeah, we won't talk about it.
You know, it only takes once for you to learn.
But tell me your score. What's your score?
So, I have it going a little differently.
Okay.
I've seen this team allow early touchdowns.
Okay.
I'm thinking there's going to be an early score and a late score and a lot of field goals in between.
Okay.
I have Eagles 38.
Okay.
Saints 26.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't think they had that type of fortitude. The weirdest thing is, like, we're only a couple of sacks away from breaking the all-time sack record.
12, is it? I think it's 12 sacks.
Yeah, something like that. But
yes.
And also they've given up 30 sacks. Andy Dalton's a statuesque player that stares down receivers. He's just waiting to get sacked. And that's one of the reasons why I think. And then Alvin Kamara has been less than stellar. So, and I don't think he's fighting for this team. And they make dumb decisions. So that's why I'm saying
thinking 4 field goals on their end. 12 points plus 2 touchdowns.
I don't think they're even going to get that. I'm just saying because they're one of the teams that think that they're brass and go for it in 4th down situations and instead of points.
Let's hope that you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope.
I'm just saying because I've done the research.
You have done the research, and you're the man. And I'm the losing gambler over here.
Yeah, you're a bit of a.
So we know where my money is. Everybody bet the other way. I've got the over clearly in 38-26. This is an under. It's a mortal lock.
I might take the over, but I think the Eagles are going to score more.
Okay.
So that's about it.
Well, I do have the Eagles putting up 38.
Yeah.
You know, I think 38-26, late garbage time touchdown, as I said last time with Dallas.
But I would say 35-17 in that situation with a late garbage touchdown.
Yep, and they did 2 late garbage time field goals when we were struggling because
I don't think
Jonathan Gannon's lame duck defense.
But at some point, I don't think they're not going to be going for field goals anymore.
Yeah. Well,
it looks like he's rubbing his hands for a break and for us to get the hell out of here. And us to me mix and mingle with the people because the Birds game is about to come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was our show.
It was pretty cool.
We've gone through 3 hours like that.
Thank you. It's way more people than it was last time.
Yes, yes. Live at the Mud Hen
That's
Brewery
Christian.
in Wildwood. If you're listening in now, stop by. Hollis and I will be hanging out. You can get a picture with Hollis. I'll buy you a beer.
Really?
Yeah, why
Buy
not?
me a hero boy.
Yeah, why not?
All right. With a whisper of sentiment.
Yes, Reality Check, the ultimate sports preview, first edition in the books here at the Mud Hen on Rio Grande Avenue in Wildwood. Special thanks to Drew and Will, our bartenders.
Damn, Skippy.
Jim here on site, our expert engineer. Norm back at the station.
Yes.
And to the man to my left, the former Philadelphia Eagle, Hollis Thomas.
Damn, Skippy.
I am Pete Visalli. That was your Reality Check.
Go Birds.
We are here to say go Birds and Tarpon. Talk is cheap.
Yes.
Make it sharp.
Yes. Go Birds. Cowboys suck.